right? Like, you were good to go. Perfect. Okay. So welcome to our third summit of 2024. We always host one at the very last quarter of the year to get you supercharged for 2025. Because as a broker, and I'll tell you a little bit about myself as a broker and as a salesperson, I've been in this industry full-time now for 30 years. My 30th anniversary was March of this year, but I was actually licensed 32 years ago while I was still in university doing my degree in psychology. And so I came into the business full-time in March of 1994. Just so you know, 13 years of my sales curve or real estate career was in sales. So I actually did what you do. So I'm a very rare kind of commodity in the brokering managing business where I've sold and I'm a broker as well. So 17 years of my career has been as a broker leader. I've been here now with Signature for 9 years. So I ran Royal LePage Real Estate Services corporate offices, a number of them in Mississauga. Our office was purchased in November 2015. So as we evolve to the course, I'll be celebrating my 9th anniversary with Signature. When we came over here, my team, and Matt was one of my team, Mary Murray and Lorraine. Those are my core team that I had at my brokerage. We came over here November 19th, 15th, 2015. We love it so far. We haven't left, right, Matt? We're still here. This course here that I created is something I created many, many years ago because I was getting a little bit itchy, I would say, in around 2003, 2004 for more academic learning. So I went back to university, did a master's degree in leadership and business. And part of my my journey in education was to do a program that also was a very academically ingrained program. So I had to do a thesis for the program. And what do you think I wrote my thesis on? Real estate. And so I wrote a thesis. It was called Performance Predictors for Realtors, because I've always been interested in what makes realtors tick. And I'm sure each and every one of you is sitting there going, I've seen realtors that, have reached this pinnacle of success in your eye. Maybe it's financial, maybe it's transactional, whatever that looks like. And you say, how did they do that? I'm a better person than them. I'm smarter, I'm better looking. I'm all these things. I got a better car. How did that person do that? And so I wanted to examine what that looked like from a psychological point of view. I got certified at the time, so over 20 odd years ago, in emotional intelligence. Is everybody familiar with that kind of science, emotional intelligence? So I was one of the very first people in Canada to be certified under one of the top methods, even to this day. It's the Reuben Baron method of EQI. And I became an assessor for that, and it kind of helped me create this platform in my thesis. And so I've taken a lot of that. So I've taken practical, which I did 13 years in the trenches like you are. So when I hear excuses about, I'm struggling, I don't know why my business is not where it wants to be, I was there. I was there in the trenches with you, and as a young kid that had literally no credibility, right? I was 22 when I got my license and 24 when I started full time. And I always will ask you, so if you ever come into my office and it's always open, right? I mean, sometimes it's closed and I'm doing a legal matter or a RICO thing, knock on the door, come on in and have a chat. And when you do tell me that you're struggling and things are not working out for you, you'll always get the first question from me back. And if you've ever been in my office, maybe Indy knows this, he's putting his hand over his eyes. I'll always ask you this question. What did you do yesterday? What did you do last week? What did you do last month to build your business? And I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt that I see like a deer in headlights looking back at me. It's like, I don't know what I did yesterday. I don't know what I did the week before or the month before. And to me, that's your solution, right? So it's a quick diagnosis. I know there might be other things happening in your life, but if you really distill it down to that one kind of situation, what did you do yesterday, last week to build your business last month? And here we are in October, the middle of October, near the end of it. We are starting to build our business for 2025. Because the problem is most people start building their 2025 business on January 1st. They wake up and they do these things called what?
Let's go.
New Year's resolution. New Year's resolutions. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. And guess what? You're doing that with everybody else. Anybody going to guess how many realtors there are in Toronto? So, yeah, 75,000 realtors are engaged in our business. And I say engaged.
Only 15 are active though.
That's what I'm saying. I say engaged very loosely. When you actually look down and drill down to the numbers, there's an old saying called the Pareto principle, right? Does anyone know what the actual ratio for, what is it? 80-20. It's not like that in real estate. It might have been like that 20 years ago when I wrote my thesis, because I looked at the kind of ratios for that. To me, I think you're closer to 90-10 or 92-8 in true fact, right?
Compare the 94.6, I guess.
Pardon me?
Compare the 94.6.
I think it's probably 8 to 10% are actually running what I would call a healthy business. I look at businesses for real estate realtors in three ways: healthy business, a vulnerable business, and a terminal business. I look at it from a doctor point of view, although I'm not a doctor. Most people are running an unhealthy terminal business. Very few are running the healthy business. And one of the big reasons for that is the actual fees that you guys are assessing to your clients. Like, you are taking money off the table before you even start the work, right? So one of the courses in the program, and there's 5 core courses that we're going to go through. And number 6 is a bonus interactive case study where I bring in one of our top realtors, and we've been doing this now for 4 or 5 years. It's Emilio Espinoza. If you've heard of him or you've met Emilio, him and I have really kind of gelled with this case study aspect, because Emilio is also a fiend for educating himself. And so he spends a couple of weeks every year going down to Boston, Massachusetts. There's this kind of university down there. You might have heard of it. It's called Harvard, right?
Oh.
So he goes down there and takes courses in negotiations. And to me, negotiations is one of the most important, if not the most important skill set that you are being hired for. I do a lot of research and reading of research. And when NAR, anybody know what NAR is in real estate? National Association of Realtors. That's the American version of CREA, the Canadian Real Estate Association. NAR does tons of research. Why are you selecting your realtor? What's important that you want in your realtor? And I've been reading these studies for 20 years. Always in the top 3, mostly either 1 or 2, is they're looking for your negotiation ability. And I think that's one of the skill sets that is least trained and definitely least known by realtors, because we go typically to showing or to CMAs, and we're going to talk about CMAs as well, because there's a big contest going on. Who went to the Tom Ferry thing this week? Wasn't that? It's like, I won't swear, but that was freaking awesome. Right? Like, we had 800 people in that room. I worked for Royal LePage Canada, and we didn't put 800 people in national events in a room like that, and this company did that. Like, so you are aligned and with, I would say, the most exceptional Royal LePage company, if not company, in all of Canada. To be able to bring Tom Ferry here was exceptional. So they created this big contest on the fly. I put a little bit about it on the board there. And I can't even tell you exactly what the contest is, because they're actually trying to figure out the metrics of what that exactly, right? So all I know, there's just 3 things. And this is based upon CMAs. Everybody know what a CMA is, right? Yeah. Comparative market analysis. Exactly. It's your diagnosis. It's you going in as the doctor, diagnosing and prescribing and giving a prescription to and giving the solution, right? So I know the grand prize was, Tom Ferry said, 1 year of coaching. My understanding, that's worth $21,000 US. Chris is sending that winner to Tom Ferry's conference in, I believe it's March, in Dallas, Texas. He's also giving 4 people outside of the grand prize winner, the ability to go down to that as well. And then Tom Ferry is coming up to Toronto, I believe, in March as well. And there's going to be a ton of free comp tickets to our team, all three offices, to be able to go to that. So we don't know the metrics yet. We don't need to know exactly what the metrics are. We need to just go out and do some CMAs, right? We need to meet people.
Numbers of CMA, whoever does the highest numbers of CMA.
Yeah, and then so we talked about this at a high level yesterday, Chris, myself, Jeff, Sam, Michael, Darren, because we have such a big company. We have over 1,600 agents, and so we want to make it kind of fair. So we're trying to figure out an equitable, fair solution.
Mechanism,
Pardon me?
mechanism for it to work.
Yeah,
It's,
I'm not sure how it's going to look, to be honest with you, and how it'll roll out. I'm kind of in the camp. I was an athlete too. I played hockey, and a lot of my business, I'll tell you as we go through this course, was from the minor sport community of hockey and baseball. I coached players that eventually went on to be in the NHL. They became my clients. It was fun, right? Like who wants to get up every morning and sell real estate and go, oh God, I got to go to real estate, so real estate sucks. Like that's just not what we want to do. We want to come out excited, energized, happy to work with people, and say no to people we don't want to work with. Like who's ever said to people, yeah, sorry, I've got too many clients on the go right now. I can't take you on. But I got a good friend over at ABC Company. That's the guy you don't like or really don't like. You say, give them a call, right? I've actually done that. Why don't you do it yourself? You're only punishing yourself working with people that are going to bring the storm clouds into your day every day, right? Because here's what happens. You got 5 people you're working with, and 1 is a jerk, and 4 are amazing. A jerk is going to make those 4 people that you're working with, it's going to put the clouds over you. You're going to be in a bad mood. Don't be in a bad mood for the 4. Go give exceptional Ritz-Carlton service, Tiffany service to the 4, and get rid of the 5th, right? And I'll talk to you a bit about that, how that works. So that's a bit about myself. This course here has been 20 years I've been teaching this whole program. Obviously, I've fine-tuned it as we've evolved as a profession. We've done some changes. I'm very, very active. You see me probably sometimes on live. I'm very active in government relations. So I do a lot of the outreach for the industry at all levels of government. But my real specialty and strength is in the provincial level. So with Doug Ford's government, because they're in government and power, they actually are the ones that oversee our industry, right? So we've had this amazing thing called TRESA, Trust and Services Act that's come through, has not replaced REVA, right? So just to be clear about that, REVA still exists. TRESA just built onto that. In fact, in a week, is it a week or 2 weeks, the GR teams across the province are going to hit Queen's Park with our asks. And so you may have received a couple weeks ago from Maria the survey. You would have got a $5 gift card from Tim's if you filled it out about what's concerning you. So they took
Wish list.
Yeah, exactly. They took all of your input and they've created an ask list basically. And so in 2 weeks they're going to go hit the streets and do all the asking for us. And the big ones that we've succeeded on, personal real estate corps, right? Who has one of those, by the way? Okay, why does not everybody have that? A personal real estate corp.
I was told to wait.
Personal real estate corp, yeah. Okay, so you said you were told to wait. You have to really sit down with your accountant, your lawyer, figure that out. Is it time for you to implement one of those today in your business, right? If you're a startup right now and you don't have any business to retain the earnings, because that's what you're doing, you're retaining earnings in the corporation, then yeah, maybe it's not the right time for you. But to me, you become part of that 90-10 Pareto principle, the new one, you're going to want to have a personal real estate corporation. I happened to be sitting in the legislature at Queen's Park the day we passed it, because I was part of the team that did that. And they made a big joke, right, for me, because I'm a conservative guy, I'm a party member, all this stuff. They decided to park me right in front, like I'm sitting as close to you guys, in front of guess who?
Trudeau.
Leader, oh no, it's
No, the opposition.
opposition.
Yes.
Kathleen Wynne.
Oh.
She was right there.
Oh.
And I thought, They did that on purpose.
We-
We're gonna put Kenley in front of.
It was a mistake.
I like Kathleen.
It was a mistake.
I get along with
Sorry, I
everybody.
apologize.
I get along with everybody, right?
What's that? I'm glad you're
In
done.
fact, actually, when it closed, I went out and I took a picture with Kathleen. Her and I were going down the elevator by ourselves to say, hey, Kathleen, could I have a picture with you? Listen, when you're giving of your time and your life to public service, to me, that's exceptional. Doesn't matter what
Yes.
color you're wearing, right? So as a advocate for us in our field, come to me at any time and I'll fill you in on what happens behind the scenes, because to me, being on top of the regulatory aspect of what our business is hugely important for you to differentiate yourself from the 75,000 TREB members and the 105,000 realtors that exist in Ontario. Okay, so that's about what the population of AREA is. It's about 105,000, 103,000 realtors. The competition today is extreme. It is fierce. It is nowhere near when I started in the business. It is that. It's like the jungle, basically, right? You're out there, and we're going to talk about the different methods of generating leads and things, because there's really, to me, only 1, 2, 3 things that you're really focusing on. We'll get to that in a second. So before we get into the program, any questions of me before we launch into this, or you just want me to go? I want you guys to be interactive, right? Ask questions. Indy, you've been in the course before. Who else? Taraj has. So when I do ask someone, yeah, Donovan has. Been in my course too, yeah. So when I ask the questions you know the answers to, you can't answer them. Okay, it's not fair. Before I even launch it, and was there any questions before I started? No. So I feel like Santa Claus when I start my program. So I've invested in lots of handouts and books, but not today. You don't get them today. So as I said, the last course is a case study. It's me and Amelia. We're going to run through legitimate commission objection situations, because to me, that is where the money hits the rubber, right? The street for us. Because if we can't retain the earnings that we have the ability to get, we're giving it away, right? We're literally lighting money on fire. I don't know about you, but if I was walking down the street and a $20 bill fell into my pocket, I'd be upset about that. I'd be really ticked off. That's 20 bucks. I'd be pissed off for $5. But at a listing table, people are giving away $5,000, $10,000 without even thinking twice about it. And you haven't even started the listing process yet to realize, oh my God, they wanted this price here and it's really here. What are we doing? So in the case study, if you show up for it, whether it's online or in the audience, we prefer you to come in for the case study. We prefer you to come in for the audience for anything, of course, right? But we're going to give you some books. Now, 2 of them, I was able to get Phil Jones. Who went to the Phil Jones event we had? All right, so in 2 months, you guys have seen 2 preeminent world-class speakers in real estate. So I went and hunted Phil Jones down and I got him to autograph 2 of the books.
Nice.
So these 2 books will be raffled off to whoever attends every session, whether it's online or in person. So if you do not attend all 6, you can't qualify for these 2. So these 2 are the and you know what I screwed up on Wednesday? I didn't realize that the Jimmy Mackin guy co-wrote that. I could have got both of them. Oh well. And I was talking to him. I was in
Can
the.
we find it to the signature?
I'll leave that up to you.
Is that
And-
session 7?
That's right. That's session 7. And so I went onto Amazon and I looked up the best books on business. So we got stuff like Negotiating the Negotiable, Negotiation Genius. We got Never Split the Difference. Has anybody ever heard of Chris Voss?
I actually read that.
Amazing, right?
That's a good one.
This one here, in fact, I read the original of this when I was doing my master's degree. Influence. How do you influence people?
I looked at that one.
Yep. So you have to be for the last session to get these things, right? You don't have to be attending all of them, but you have to be for
That 3rd one is an amazing book.
your first 365 days in real estate. Who's not been in real estate for 365 days yet? Okay, so there you, that might work for you too. This one here is a rewrite of the original. I have my original still at home and my front cover is ripped. It's called this one's called Getting Past No. The one I've got is called Getting to Yes. William Ury. Everybody heard of William Ury? Amazing. Harvard professor. Emilio studied directly under him. So pretty cool stuff. What else do we got? Like I said, it's Santa Claus. Oh yeah, we got this guy. Who went to our session when we flew him in from New York City? Salt Lake Sirhan.
Yeah.
You were with us then, right?
Yeah.
A lot of you?
Yeah.
So we flew him up for a whole day and he did a session with us for a full day, Salt Lake Sirhan. So we got 3 books. I don't have his autograph for you guys. And what else did I get? Yeah. Oh, I got some more of those unautographed. We have a big class, eh, Matt? How many people do we got? Oh, these are just actors.
We're about, what, 30 something here right now and 45 online.
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna have to buy more books.
We'll see how many numbers we have when we get closer to the end.
I think I bought 25, so I'm gonna have to buy some more books, if you guys stick with me. Now, I do experience a bit of a drop off after my first class. I don't know why. I mean, I'm good looking, smart.
It's not personality.
It's not, I don't know. But I do. And I would attribute it to one thing. It's, we are here to get you to do activities, to actually work the business, okay? And so I have my own system that I used when I sold real estate. I was an athlete, I was a hockey player, right? And so after a hockey game, especially when I was a kid, my dad would drive me to the game and, I scored 2 goals, but it wasn't good enough because I should have got 3, right? No, my dad was fantastic. Still alive, I love my dad to death. And my mom and my whole family, they're great. But you need to be able to track your success, right? And we fail at that massively. So when I was selling real estate in my early days, taking this athlete experience and because I like academics and creating things, I created my own actual system of real estate. I've never monetized it though. You're taking this class you're only paying $100, right, off of your account or something? No, it's free. Okay, look. You turned white. It's free.
So I can get my cash back?
You can get your cash back. If they charged your account, it went to the other mic.
Oh, okay.
I didn't get it. I need the money because Indy's my renovator too, and I need to do more renovations. By the way, Indy there, he's like my brother. The guy fixed my whole house, made my wife happy, my life's happy. We're good, right? Next one's the basement. If you're ever looking for renovation stuff, highly recommend it. I very rarely recommend people for anything, but I highly recommend that. So this is free, but don't think of it as being free because it's free. It's worthless. It's not. If you adapt and adopt what I'm going to teach you, you can take your business to whatever level you want. There's people that work in our office that have become chairman's people that started exactly where you were because they adopted my systems and listened to some of the techniques, right? So yes, you can spend $1,500 a month at Tom Ferry. I'm not saying not to, or you can come here for free and I even give you Panera. Now the order got screwed up today. We usually get 5 boxes of stuff. They only brought in 2, Matt. What's going on?
Sorry.
$100.
I accept blame.
No, it wasn't Matt's fault. We're gonna have our 5 boxes next week, so if you show up, I think we still have some left, right? We didn't run out. And for those of you that are home, if you're sitting there by yourself at home, come on in, you're gonna get some Panera. It's free, and coffee and muffins and all that kind of stuff. The last course, by the way, again, we'll feed you too. So you're gonna get your Panera in the morning, and we're gonna do a lunch. How cool is that? All I ask for you to do is come in for 6 weeks. But I do, as I said, experience a drop off after the first week because people are like, oh, Mike wants me to do some work. I thought this was just come in, drink coffee, and eat bagels. Kind of not, right? And so we're going to track your systems. Matt's, have you sent that stuff out yet, or you send it out after my class?
I sent the 2 Excel sheets out this morning and last night,
Okay, perfect.
and the whole workbook as well.
Perfect. And you're gonna get a whole bunch of other stuff. I trained under a guy named Floyd Whitman. Who's ever heard of Floyd Whitman? A couple of you have, right? You probably heard it from old sorts like me that have been in the business for a long time. He was, and to me is, the best real estate trainer of all time. And I know a lot of them. I know Richard Robbins, Chris Leader. We saw Tom Ferry. Tom Ferry, by the way, never sold real estate, is what I was told. Never sold a house in his life. But his father did.
It's a
His
motivation.
father was a killer, amazing, still does training. He competed against Floyd Whitman, but I was a Floyd Whitman, a student. His program was called the Sweat Hogs. My first class going to Sweat Hogs, 1994. I paid, I think $1,400, $1,500. Now that's real money back then, right? That's like talking 5 or 6 today. And we had all these activities to do for our first class. I showed up, I didn't do my homework. Now, the class was probably about 5 times the size of what we have here in the audience. There's 100 and something people. Thank God, I didn't get picked on. Because the person he picked on, which was not at the front of the room, it was near the back of the room. He's like, Donovan, show us what you did this week. And the guy didn't do anything like me and most of the audience. He brought Donovan up to the front, sat him down, and pulled out a dunce hat. Remember back in the 50s and 40s, teachers would actually abuse kids? A dunce cap on it and berated this guy that paid $1,400 US $1,500 US. You think I ever showed up at class without doing my work again? Here's the thing, I'm not gonna do that to you guys. So nobody gets brought up in front and ashamed or humiliated, but I'd like you to do the work that I ask you to do. Because the person that's gonna benefit the most is not me, it's you. This is all about you. But I will say this, when it comes time for our annual awards, where we bring you up on stage, you get your handshakes and pictures, you're gonna be super excited. The person that's really second, well, obviously your spouse if you're married or whatever, mom and dad. We've had mom and dads fly in from other countries to be on stage with some of our realtors. That's how cool it is. I'm gonna be very proud of you too. Like I get all my satisfaction of being a trainer and coach is watching you guys succeed. And if you don't, that's fine too. That's your choice. It wasn't my choice. I'm just going to kind of open your mind to things and think of it as a parachute. Tom Ferry told a story actually on Wednesday about his uncle that was a paratrooper, right? I talked to him after about it. My grandfather was also in the military. He landed on D-Day too, right? So his uncle, I think it was his uncle, he said, jumped out of a plane on D-Day. My grandfather came out of a landing craft in front of the beach, just like say Private Ryan on D-Day. And so I met a lot of veterans in my life. My actual hobby is history and writing about history and collecting it. And I always think of this analogy for us in our life and what a parachute person needs to have to save their life. They're flying in an airplane and they open the door and they jump out. What do they got on their back?
Parachute.
Parachute. If that parachute doesn't open up, what happens to them? They're gonna die, right? The parachute is like your mind in training and in your life. If you don't open up your mind to things, to new things, you're going to die, right? Now, you're not going to agree with everything I'm going to say over the next 6 weeks. That's fine. But the ones that you do agree with, open up your mind and make that change. Changing things in your life, I know is difficult. And it doesn't happen overnight. I said earlier about January 1st, your New Year's resolutions, everybody makes them. And everybody thinks that in 2 to 3 or 4 weeks, they create that habit. Who agrees with that? Let's go for 4 weeks. Can you create a lifelong habit in 4 weeks? It's not a chance. Neuroscience says no. I studied neuroscience. It's going to take you 3 to 6 months to
Unless it's smoke.
Smoking, well, I mean, I've never smoked, so I don't know the trueness to that, but I mean, every
Easiest
day,
to start, hardest to stop.
I would, from what I've heard, absolutely. Nicotine is one of the most addictive chemicals in the world. You are going to need 3 to 6 months to form these new habits and break the old ones. You're not here with me for 3 to 6 months. I'm just giving you the start. I'm giving you the kickstart, right? You're getting me for 6 weeks. So don't give up. Don't give up this week and say on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, go, yeah, I liked Mike, it was cool and stuff, but I don't want to do the work. Don't make that choice. Make the choice to stay with it. And then when we're finished, keep with it. You're in a community here of 1,600 agents, and you're in a community of, how many again we got? 80 odd people in this course. 60, let's say 60, right? Let's say 60. You guys are going to get to know each other. And I've watched this happen for 20 years. People have taken my courses, they become friends, lifelong friends, and some of them have left the business for the friendships you make here, because you're going to support each other here too. It's not about just you individually, it's about everybody else, right? Yeah.
Got a question for you. What do you think of getting AI to support your work? Is it ethical or is it just cheating?
So tell me more about what that means to you.
when you go through the work and it becomes routine, instead of sitting down and writing a report that would take you 6 hours or 8 hours,
Sure.
you just throw it in there and you get it in 15 minutes.
I personally don't think there's.
Do you agree with that?
I don't think
Or
there's anything unethical with that. I mean, here's what I would do though, is proofread whatever it comes out, because my understanding is that sometimes the output's not exactly what you thought the input was gonna be, right?
the problem that I'm trying to present is the other side still, like, it's still new, so the other side does not actually know that you're using. They think you're using your blood and sweat to do that stuff for them, not.
So when I teach you some dialogues today and throughout the course, some of those dialogues are my personal ones that I created, and some of them are the ones I learned from Floyd Wickman, from Rich Robbins, from Chris Leader, from.
And that's where AI comes from.
I don't tell
by
my
the way.
clients when I was selling them and doing a dialogue that, oh, hang on, I gotta give you my bibliography here. That's from Floyd Wickman, right? So no, I have no issue with that, but I would definitely proofread whatever the output is, right? And I know I've seen a lot of people that are doing like that kind of base work, throwing it into ChatGPT and seeing what comes up. So yeah, I don't have any issue with it. And here's the thing: I was on a podcast. Everybody know David Greenspan, by the way.
Mhm.
So David and I have known each other probably, well, when he first started in his business.
So in other words, what's your money?
So I was on his podcast about 2 months ago, and we talked about AI. It was one of the questions he asked me, because he knows I study a lot of stuff in our field. Because a lot of people are talking about AI, and it's going to change everything, and you guys are not going to be around anymore. I call BS on that. I don't think that's the case. There are going to be professions that are probably going to be hit hard, like editors and newspapers and book editors, because you can throw that stuff in there and push it out. But I think our business, put it this way, has survived a lot of onslaught from technology already. We used to be compared a lot to travel agents, right? Travel agents' business has profoundly changed. Ours did. Technology didn't get in the way of our interacting face to face with people. Did you really care that you went on to Travelocity or whatever, or you went to a travel agent in person or Travelocity? Like people made that switch to go there to buy a ticket for an airplane or a vacation. They didn't need to go and spend the extra whatever. Now, some people still choose. I still have a travel agent. I'll be a call up, but that person doesn't get paid what he used to be paid. I think our profession is insulated to these changes, including AI changes, because we are a people business. We are the most people business out of any business as far as I'm concerned. More than lawyers, doctors, accountants, car salesmen. We are people business, and we are building communities. Like, we are the people that they come to ask for. What's the best school? What's the best grocery shop? And what's the best rec center? What's the best, if you like fishing, or what? They come to you first. If they're not, get that changed. Get them to be coming to you for those things. You want to be the hub inside of that spoke with all those things that you're the connector for. And that's what I used to do. And that's what I see a lot of our top realtors doing. They are that core hub person. Okay. So let's start into the course. If we have no other questions, I'm excited about what we're going to learn. I do talk a lot, so I want you to talk a lot. Right. So it's not about me and all these good things that I can share with you. It's about you guys and your experiences too, right? So first, Matt, is it going to work? Okay. All right. So you got a workbook. You open up your workbook to page 4, and I want to thank Matt for putting some work in yesterday, the last few days, quite frankly, for rejigging our book here for us so that everything kind of flows perfectly. So good on you, Matt. I start off with this first question, and this was before there was a guy named Simon Sinek. You ever heard of the name Simon Sinek? The guy that's wrote the book about, what's your why, basically. Right?
Oh, that's right, yeah.
So I was asking this question before he wrote that book. Maybe I should have wrote a book about that, and I'd be an author flying the world. Anyways, why did you get into the real estate business? And so this is interactive for you guys to fill in on, and Matt's giving you a little bit of space to do that. And I'm going to, hopefully this writes for me, Matt. Yes, it does. I'm gonna take off the table the one that you're all thinking about right now. So you can't write that one. I know we're all here to make money, right? Because we're not a charity. We may do charity work, but this profession that we've chosen, we're here to make some money, okay? So now what other things are you in this business for? What is your why? And this, think of these answers as your anchor when you're going to make decisions down the road, decisions to give away your commission, your fee, right? When somebody says, you know, Mike, the other guy would say you would do it for 3.5%. Why are you charging 5%? You got to come back to why you're in the business. Are you willing to give away at that point 60% of your income? If you went from 5% to 3.5%, you're cutting your listing side. You're giving away 60% of your income. Did you know that? Probably not. We don't do that math. We just want to get a signature. So why are you in the business? I'm going to take another one off the table because I hear this one all the time. I've done this hundreds of times. I've taught this course. We like people. Really? I like people too. I like real estate agents too.
I like myself.
You know, I like yours, and you should.
I want my time.
That's right. You got to monetize your time. Figure what that looks like. So I'm taking off the two big ones. I like people. I want money. What are some of the other? Yeah.
Choose who I work with.
Choose who you work with. Perfect. So can I change that and say this word? Because this is when I hear that, I think of this. Yes. Freedom to choose who you want to work with. Freedom to choose when I get up in the morning. Freedom to choose when I go to work, when I stop working, right? So it's freedom. Yeah.
Doing something you enjoy instead of having to.
The love and the passion. Right? Would that be right? Love and passion. Yeah. Matt's got his hand up.
Ben at home says just to help people find happiness.
Happiness. Oh gosh. Okay. That's like, you ever seen Saturday Night Live back in the 90s? The guy Smiley looks into the mirror. I'm good.
John Candy.
That's right. Exactly. No, I love it. Happiness. Listen, if we're not happy, what's the opposite of happy? Who wants to be sad? Who wants to work with a sad real estate agent here? You got to be energized. You got to have emotion. You ever heard the old saying, emotion creates motion, right? Right? Happiness. What is it? Yes. Yeah.
It's your own business.
Yep.
With less startup cost.
Oh, I love that. That's really cool. So she said two things there. There's actually two things. So we're going to call it be your own boss. Right? Right? I'm just sling it down. Be your own boss. By the way, most real estate agents should fire themselves,
Yeah.
right? Because they're not actually managing themselves. They're not monitoring themselves. They're not tracking themselves. So you should fire yourself. You said something else, which is very profound. No startup cost or little startup cost. A lot of realtors don't actually realize that they're building an actual storefront business without having to go and rent a storefront. This is a storefront, this facility. We have 18,000 square feet on this floor. We have on the third floor about 6,000, and downstairs we have maybe what, 2,000? You haven't paid one penny for that. That's been the business that does that storefront. So you're not even worried about an operational capital expense thing called rent. And by the way, the screen here, these tables, the picture, all the decor, how much did you guys invest in that?
You thinking of selling anytime soon?
Right? Yeah. This business is amazing the way this has been scaled out as a company. So that is very, very important what you said. If you just wanted to open up a Subway franchise or a pizza, okay, let's even go Tim Hortons. What's it gonna cost you to open up a
$1 million of royalty.
Right? Did you spend $1 million to get a real estate license with the unlimited potential to make $1 million or $2 million or $3 million? In this office alone, we have realtors that make close to $2 million selling residential real estate. in the company, we have people making more than that too. Well, who would figure that you could sell houses and make $2 million or $1.5 million for $1 million? Yes, you can. But you didn't spend $1 million to buy a franchise rights to do it. So I really like that. Yeah, Matt.
We just got a few from home. So Ash used to work in the accommodation and hospitality at hotel jobs.
Yep.
Says this is similar and pays better. We've got Lishaw, who wants the flexibility and passion for property.
Yep.
And
To
Sid-
buy it or to look at it?
well, we're going to assume to help people, buy it.
Okay.
And then Sid wants to be able to scale his job to his own terms. He wants to earn as much as he puts time into.
Love it. Love it. So now you're thinking about what, was your, I saw another, he had it too. He had another one.
No, it's similar.
Okay. Anybody else?
I'll tell you my story. I retired from something that I had to do, was good at, spent a lot of my years doing it, something I wanted to do.
Now you
That's,
Now
I,
you're
I
what?
retired early so I could have a few years of enjoyment at the end of my life, so.
So I'll just give you a little sage advice about realtors. We never retire.
Well, exactly.
We
I
just-
don't want to retire and sit home.
We just become listless.
That's funny.
Did you get that?
Yeah.
Listless. Listings is the name of the game in our business. That's why we're doing a contest on CMAs. If you look at us as being a retail business, I'll use an example of.
Say that again. Listing is the name of the business.
Which?
Listing is the name of the business.
Listing is the name of the business. It is the business. It is your product that you have on your retail shelf. So if you think of yourself as a retail business, like if you're gonna go to Walmart or you're gonna go to Metro, you're gonna go for Kino's, you probably wouldn't go back there if they had nothing on their shelves today, right? Like so you walk in the store and all the displays, what's on sale, what's not on sale, staples. If it's not there, you're not going into the building anymore, to the business. Real estate's business is the listings. That's your inventory. Here's a little mathematical formula that has, in my entire career and before it, served the test of time. For every listing you get, you're going to get 3 leads and 1 other sale. Yeah. And today it might be a little lower. We got a lot of inventory, right? The economy does shift. But mark my words, come next year in March and April, the time that buyers have right now to make up their minds, because there's nobody out there buying, right? There's no competition. They have all this selection. They walked into the Bay and it's like, there's no other customer there. So it's like, hey, everything's on sale, right? That's not going to be the case in April and May. It's going to invert. And the interest rates are going to help with that. But reality is going to set in because people need a roof over their house and people are not wanting to rent anymore and give away that rent income to the equity they can be building. So mark my words, you want the product on your shelf. So today is October, middle of October. You're building your inventory for next year. I want you to build it for today too. Like don't say, hey, Mike said, oh, I can't worry about this. No, I want you to start building it now. But in reality, when people are starting to go from neutral, the first, second, third, fourth, fifth year, you guys are going to be in 4th and 5th gear when everybody else is just thinking about now starting it up. Okay, very important.
There was a time when people were auctioning off houses.
Yeah.
5, 6 real estate agents and $300,000-$400,000
Goofy.
were asking.
Goofy, like absolutely goofy. And I was telling our realtors at the time, this does not make any economic sense. This is ridiculous. This is craziness. Okay, so number 2, why do I sell the way I do? You're probably thinking, what the hell does he, what's he asking? Well,
Because it matches my personality. That's how I am. And that's why I sell.
yeah, that's exactly. And the 3 methods I'm going to teach you and share with you of how you sell real estate, your personality is very much going to anchor into one of these 3 or possibly 2. So there's 3 ways that realtors, I think, I've made this up. Farmer is 1. Hunter. And I'll say a hybrid. Yes, I do have a master's degree. great. And sometimes with spell check, you forget how to spell, but that's how you spell Haida. I forgot the R, but I put it back in. Okay, so there's three ways that we look at selling, or I look at selling for realtors. One is the farmer. The vast majority of realtors are farmers. What does a farmer do? Like a real farmer?
You put the seed down, water it.
Put a seed. They put the water in it, the sun hopefully is gonna help, and the weight. They're gonna go out and talk nice things to the crop, like it's gonna grow big, all this kind of, right? That's a farmer. So a farmer is planting seeds today and harvesting
And
later. And is it tomorrow is later or next week?
Next
A
month.
long time. Okay. Most of realtors do farmer style lead generation. This is lead generation, right? How do I sell? Think of it, lead generation. Then you've got the hunter. What does a hunter do?
Now.
Now, he goes out and attacks what he needs to eat today. Okay? So a hunter is somebody that is very active, very active. A hybrid combination of the two. Okay, so you said personality. So why do most people adopt a farmer style of system? Because they're not the aggressive attacker. Okay. Now, I said the word aggressive. You don't need to be aggressive to be a hunter. You can be like they teach that course called ninja training, ninja selling. It's like secret attacker. So you can be that, right? But you have to do it covertly. You can't be the guy, hey, you want to buy a house? That guy, that girl is crazy. Nobody wants to talk to you. It's like, oh God, there's Mike's coming. Don't be that guy. So you be a covert hunter. So what was I? What do you think I was when I sold real estate?
Hybrid.
I was a hybrid. I want the best of both worlds. Okay. So I'm planting my seeds in the farming system, right? To harvest later. Now, when you're planting today, it might be a miracle crop because I might have miracle grow spray on it and they want to buy today. Why? Because I was out doing the activities and today, this week, this month, they decided, yeah, harvest me now. But I'm not going to know that unless I'm out there doing those activities. So it's lead generation. Your personality will determine which of the three you evolve to. Because we do have strictly hunter realtors in this office. God love them. They're on the phone at 7:30 in the morning. Kid you not, in this office, making phone calls to people. They're getting ready to go to work.
People don't want to talk.
And they don't get yelled at. Believe it or not, because you're thinking they're going, I got a call at 7:30, 8 o'clock, and I'm getting my kids ready. I'm gonna be pissed. If I talk to these agents that do this and they don't get yelled at and shouted at. We have agents that get up every day, rain or shine or snow, and go into this thing called. How many times do you think we've had agents shot or bitten by a dog? Never. They might have had a door closed rudely in their face. Okay, on to the next one, they say, right? We have an agent in here. The office is right behind us here. He's taught a couple of courses for me in door knocking. He won the Royal LePage Top 35 under 35. He started his business and built his business on door knocking. His name's Alex Abramoff. Big, tall guy. I think he's now out of the 35 category. He's like 36 now, so he can't win the award anymore. That guy door knocked and made a fortune. To be in a top 35 in Royal LePage under 35. He's a hunter. But now he's transitioned into hybrid because I taught him, I said, hey, why are you doing that? All these people you picked up, put them in your farming system and harvest their business and harvest what other business are you harvesting from them. What's the most important business you can harvest from a farming technique? Referrals. Referrals. When you're a hunter, you're transactional. When you're a farmer, you're transformational. When you're the hybrid, you're both. So he's transitioned into a hybrid type of business. Okay. So next question. What does it feel like to be a client of mine? Put yourself, use empathy, which is an emotional intelligence quadrant assessor. Use empathy. Put yourself in the shoes of your seller or your buyer. What does it feel like today to be your client?
Friendship.
Special. Awesome. What does that look like for you? Define that.
Like doing special events for your clients.
Okay.
Popeyes.
Yep.
Remembering special dates.
Remembering special dates. So we call that, say, B
Birthday,
days,
kids.
kids, pets. A lot of your clients like their pets more than they like their kids. I'll tell you that for a fact. Yeah.
Oh, you don't wanna forget about wedding anniversaries.
Wedding.
Sid at home says his clients treat him as having a free unlicensed therapist.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh, a therapist. Okay. All right. Sid should create himself a hybrid system of selling to those people. Therapists. Okay. I like it. What else? How about safe, secure,
Trusted.
cared for.
trusted, being
Trusted.
cared for? Write these things down because you'll forget them. All this brilliance you're getting from me today, right? Yes.
Social work.
A social worker? John, tell me more about that. How does that look?
No, your clients call you for everything.
They do, which I said before. You want to be in the middle of the hub.
They call you before they call their
Correct.
lawyer,
How
they
cool is
call their doctor.
that? You should be talking to your, now, we call it, people call it database, right? Your database, have you heard that word before?
Mhm.
I use a different word. It's my list of relationships, not a database. Pardon me?
Connections.
Relationships. If I don't know, we'll put up there. If I don't know your pet's name, your birthday, your wedding, they're gonna call me for social work. They shouldn't be in my list of relationships. A database is so sterile. Like, who wants to be in a database? Get me out of the database. We have a do not call registry. That's a database that people don't want to be on. It's just a phone thing. Back in the day, when we had answering services, who's old enough to have an answering service here? Some of you are like, yeah, I got one on my phone. No, I mean an answering service that was connected to your phone at home.
Yeah.
When we'd get home, we'd run to that machine and be excited that there was 3 messages there. Nobody likes that anymore. It's like, we don't have it. Because that could be somebody looking for whatever, to sell you duck cleaning, right? But back when they first came out, we got super stoked about that, right? Things change. Okay. What do I want to accomplish out of my? Yes.
Before you move on,
Sure.
let's go back to the client.
Yes.
What about, I'm thinking this is important, very important, is gonna be knowledgeable and credible.
Of course,
Your problem
Both of them.
solvers.
absolutely. Right. And what's that gonna instill in that buyer or seller?
Professionalism and
Professionals. I use the other 2 words, safe and secure, right? Because you're ushering them on this journey of buying what's most likely going to be the largest single investment of their life, right? You're performing like open heart surgery, brain surgery on them for real estate.
Yep.
You could mess up their financial life for decades. Like you literally could by making the wrong decision. So don't let anybody, by the way, tell you that you're not important, that this profession is anything other than up here with doctors. Maybe not lawyers, but we'll say those. John, yeah.
Yeah, it was just, the other day when we were at Tom Ferry, just
Yep.
before we started a phone call from one of my longtime clients who asked me a question, and these are the questions that you get as you, they paid off their house.
Yep.
And they wanted to know if the title insurance is still in full force.
No, but they can buy it. And they purchase title insurance. So by the way, if you have technical questions too along this way of talking about theory and other practice by to ask them. So he's talking about title insurance. So you have no mortgage, your house is paid off. You can buy title insurance and they price it out based upon the estimated value of the property. Hey, if you're thinking you have in your list of relationships / this database, as some people call it, people that don't have mortgages and you want to get on this board to win a CMA prize, you can call them up because they may want to go get title insurance that they don't currently have. Because the people that these fraudsters target the most are people that have no mortgage.
Yes.
And those are our seniors, the most vulnerable. Last year, I was the president of the Mississauga Real Estate Board, and I got interviewed by Crime Stoppers. I was on one of their national programs. And we were talking about identity theft, actually, and all the things that you need to do to prepare and protect yourself. That's the big one. Title insurance. You put title insurance on that property, you be that person in the middle, advise them to go do that. Nobody can go and hijack them. It's identity theft, right? That's how they do the hijacking of it. It's got title insurance. You're protected. That's a call that person today, pop by that person and give them valuable information. How cool is that? Because you should be talking to your people. I say talking, communicating, right? Communications, there's all kinds of channels to do that. You should be talking to your people, communicating 30 to 36 times a year with your people. Okay? John's like, no, I don't do that. Well, here's the thing. If you would have told me that when I was selling, I stopped selling 17 years ago. I had done what you just did. I'm like, that's impossible. Because back then, we didn't have all of the resources you have today. We have this beautiful video studio now. You can go shoot videos. By the way, I'm in a few of them because you guys, being proactive, asked me to come and sit and do a podcast with you and ask me questions. I did 2 of them this week. I did 3 of them last week. If you want to sit down and just talk about whatever, ask me. Give me a couple days to put in my schedule and I'll do it and push that stuff out. Yeah.
Yeah, so when you say 30 to 36.
Contact.
meeting,
Yeah.
It's not just like calling, it's not just videos.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Emails, text, visit Popeyes, social media stuff in your Instagram, your TikTok, wherever you're going, right? Like 30 to 36 communication pieces. Okay. What do I want to accomplish? When I say that, think of it like from your point of view, like financially. What do I want to accomplish financially, personally, professionally?
I'm going to go like that.
A
That's
lifestyle.
awesome. A lifestyle, right?
Whatever.
Maybe it's spiritually too. Maybe you want to grow spiritually. This is your personal journey. You figure it out, right? What changes can I make today in my life to accomplish all those things that we just talked about? What changes can you do?
What's harder is sweater.
Time management.
Time management. Love it.
I think that's the biggest.
Priority.
I heard schedule. I think I heard priority as well, right? Priority. Sorry about that. So when I hear these things, I kind of bucket into one big thing. And I'll say it's this. The plan. Who has a plan here right now in the audience here and at home? An actual plan of what you're going to accomplish in 2025 and what you're going to accomplish in 2028. That's 3 years.
What you're hoping or what you,
So no,
I have it in my head.
it's what you are. Well, okay, you want to use hope or aspire. That's your goal. That's your target.
I gotta go, I gotta go, but
Hope is neither a plan or strategy, right? You want to have definitive things that you can track and that you can actually course correct if you need to, right?
that's why I'm doing this.
Yeah, so for you, if this is my dream, make that happen then, right? Like, this is it. I would say the Harvard uses the SMART system, by the way, in building plans. Do you know the Harvard SMART system? It's in your book in a couple pages. You're gonna see it, but I'll go to it right now. S stands for SMART, specific, measurable, attainable, timely.
Realistic.
Realistic and timely. You've looked in the book, right? Sorry. That's the SMART system of how you want to build a plan. Funny enough that today we're going to actually talk about building a plan for you now, right? Because that's part of business foundations, right? And building a business. And you need to understand that this is your business and is a business. Do not treat this as some hobby. Here's a term I came up with. Chris loves it. Chris loves it. I hit him with it about 6 months ago. Hobbyist. A lot of real estate hobbyists. I have a hobby. It's reading, writing, and collecting history. That's my hobby. I'm not getting paid to do, I'd love to, but I can't monetize it because there's not enough people that are crazy like me that read, write, and collect history. This business, however, you have a ceiling that's unlimited of income, right? Would you agree with that? It's unlimited. You said $10 million. I didn't laugh at you. Because the top realtor in Royal LePage in Canada, the #1 chairman's club, actually the number 1, 2, 3, 4, probably 5 or more, they make more than that. Their teams make more than that, selling residential real estate in Canada, here in GTA actually, right? So it's unlimited potential. The flip side to that, there's an unlimited floor. And as you're, not earning an income in this business and you have expenses, and we're going to go through, I'm going to share with you how I actually built my budgets. We have to go through that exercise. Some of you is like going to a dentist, I know I do. But I've got in this book today for you, everything broken down where you can just write it in, get a snapshot of where you are financially with a budget, financial budget. We're going to get you looking at a plan of what you're going to do for lead generation activities. Because I'm going to teach you and show you my system. I'm not going to go back and selling anymore, just so that you know, you're never going to have to compete with me. Okay? I stopped selling. I gave up my database. I sold my database. Whoever has thought about selling a real estate database? A list of relationships. I did that 17 years ago.
How much do you sell?
How much for it? Oh, isn't that cool? That's maybe what I'm going to charge for that course. But you have to monetize that. Like selling any business, you have to show steady, consistent business. That's not just stable business, but it's growing business, right? So you assign a multiple to that if you have a healthy, growing business. If you have a stable business, then you don't assign any multiples to it. You look at what your gross commission income is. Everybody know what the term GCI is? Gross commission income, right? So you're going to predicate it on that. If you have a declining business, well, that's a going out of business. That's the terminal business I talked about. So when you are looking at building a business that maybe you're saying retire, maybe it's 15 years, you become listless, right? That's your goal. Well, you should have in your mind's eye, I'm going to sell that list of relationships in 15 years. Because if you open up a pizza joint or Subway or Tim Hortons, there's an end buyer at that end. Why don't you guys think like that? I did. I made a few bucks on the way out. I monetized the database, the list of relationships. So what changes can I make in my life right now? Plan. You got to get the plan. Okay, so next one. What's my time like, Matt?
1 hour warning. I was just about to.
I'm at an hour already?
Right now.
Oh, geez, I'm only on a slide. Trust me, like I do talk a lot. If you want me to stop, I can. I'll tell you some funny stories too, if I already haven't, but I'll tell you other ones. Because I made a lot of mistakes as a realtor. I screwed up big time, right? And I learned from my mistakes. I'm going to teach you what I did and mistakes, and maybe you can not make those same mistakes. But I have had people go and do that just on purpose to say, hey, Mike, I did it too. It's up to you. What is this? This is a survey that came out of NAR many, many years ago. And they looked at successful, productive realtors. At the time, that was a realtor that was making 100,000 plus GCI. Okay. If you took inflation into account, you're probably looking at a $200,000 number today. And so they wanted to know what a day in the life of a realtor looked like. And so they investigated these top realtors. 15% are engaged in assorted chores, paperwork, follow-up. Are those lead generation activities? Are those business building activities? Yes. Who said yes?
I did.
Paperwork and follow-up?
Yeah, you can follow up with them. You can find out the status. You can find out what they're working on, some challenges.
If you're doing a follow-up and asking for that because you already got business, I would say no. But if you're going to follow up and you're going to throw in, oh, by the way, this has been a great experience for you. Do you know anybody that might enjoy this experience at your work or so if you're doing that in your follow-up, okay. But this is not. This is in the transaction. I'm following up. Hey, we accepted the offer last night. It's upon acceptance. We have to get a deposit in. When does the deposit have to come in when it's upon acceptance? Anybody know that? 24 hours. What if it was Christmas Day today? And we accepted it today.
24 hours.
Next business.
Tomorrow, right? You guys are smart. You guys are really smart. Most people don't know that. They think 24 hours means 24 like hours business days. Doesn't include Saturdays, Sundays, or holidays. Wrong. 8% engage in some form of email, social media. That's us looking at the news, cat videos that are funny, and or sharing those ones, or sending out the new joke or whatever, right? Or watching YouTube, right? Because we want to watch Joe Rogan's podcast, or we want to watch whatever, right? Again, is that a lead generation activity? No.
Social media, I mean, like, personal.
Well, these are not active ones though, right? These are passive ones. We're consuming this, okay? We're consuming that. We're not actually pushing it out. But yes, social media, when you are the attacker or the farmer, because you want to do it long-term, right? If you're doing social media long-term, yes, that's a proactive system. 35%, some form of prospecting. So what does that look like? That's calls outbound. That's door knocking. That's pop-bys. That's flyers. That's social media. So some form of prospecting where you're out there targeting people to prospect to call you. Okay. Yeah. 20% engage in appointment activities. This is booking appointments with listings and with buyers. Okay. And then 22% in web searching activities. That's people that really get down the rabbit hole with YouTube and all these other stuff that work personally. So challenges that people have in their day, and believe me, I observe this all the time, is that they don't do enough prospecting. In this top agent situation, in their work day, now their work day can be 8 hours. Maybe your work day is 6 hours. Maybe your work day is 12 hours. Again, it's your business. Top realtors are spending 55% of their work day in some form of prospecting, right? So we want to think about in our own mind's eye and measure ourselves against what we just heard here. And this is a big study that they researched over 10,000 realtors for this. So it's got statistical validity, right? People are challenged with time management for this stuff, maintaining that database or list of relationships, mindset and psychology. This is huge. In fact, this year, one of our top priorities was mindset, right? We've talked a lot about mindset. I've always been talking about mindset because I know our minds are cluttered with a lot of negativity. In fact, I'll share with you in a moment how many thoughts we have every day and what that looks like. It's crazy. And organization. If you are not building a system, and I'll talk about a system momentarily as well, in your business, you're not going to be efficient. Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to share, Chris, in the live signature, you mentioned that like our problem isn't like time management, it's more like prioritizing. I feel like that's my problem too. Like I know what to do, but
Yeah.
the prioritizing part is the tough part.
100%. 100%. Yeah. You need to, if you are with a bow and arrow and you don't have a target to shoot at, that I could shoot the bow and arrow and hit anybody in this room. But if I have my target up and my target is one individual, it's Indy there who's sleeping, and I can nail it. He's my goal, my focus, right? Did you have that?
If you're on a family trip and you only had a few moments to do one thing out of the list, which is the one that you will not drop in a day on your daily routine?
Like if I'm on vacation with my family,
Not vacation, like you
But
had
I'm with my
something, but you're not, you can't do your daily routine with all the calls and
Yeah.
emails. What's the one thing
but I'm with my
that,
family, you said, right?
yeah, family.
So when we go into when we talk about calendarizing your day and stuff, what you'll see and what I'll talk about is the first thing I book off is personal. So if I'm with my family, I do none of that. None of that.
Okay, let's forget about family. You
Yeah,
have
I will.
something that fills your day, but you got a few minutes here, a few minutes there.
What am I going to prioritize? Well, the easiest would be a phone call, right? Yeah, I'm not going to text you. I'm not going to email you. I'm going to pick up the phone and call you. I want to face-to-face you. I want to be in your presence. That's my ideal scenario, me personally. as the hybrid, how do I sell? I want to be in your face. My next best is to phone you. Text, email, they're down the list. But in that scenario that you gave me would be phone call. I saw, again, down.
Yeah, so relating to Jimmy Mackin at Tom Ferry's conference that we just had, like Jimmy Mackin was a big thing, we don't do enough marketing. So just looking at this list, I see like 8% being social media towards marketing. And I do agree, especially in these times, technology marketing is very important, especially if you're new in the business. So like, we'd just like to hear from you, what percentage or what amount, or would you like outsource it if you don't like marketing, partner with the company? Because I think that's gotta be there to his question. If you're on vacation, at least you can still market, you don't need to actively be there.
So my response would be first, you gotta crawl before you walk, before you run, and before you go on a marathon, right? So you gotta figure out, we'll go through the budget stuff here momentarily too, financially. Do you have the financial resources to hire that person? Because I'm gonna sit here and tell you, if you do, then do it. Because if you are not the professional that knows how to, and I thought some of those things he showed were cool, that Mackin got, some of like the outbound,
Emails.
yeah, they were really cool, like the way they were positioned. I like that actually, because that's the ninja. That's the covert way of doing things. It's not that, hey, want to buy a house, want to sell a house, which everybody does. That was a really cool thing. Now, if you have the time, inclination, and skill to write that yourself, then don't go outsource it. But if you don't, I would be, when I built my business to that level where I could outsource and cover that cost, I'd be all over that, Yeah. Okay, so that's the day of this.
I apologize, I had to step away for like 10 minutes for an important call. If you've already covered.
Okay, you don't get the book.
At what stage do you think of hiring, like an admin? If you are working solo and you're a part of the team, at what stage do you decide that? Tom Ferry said there are only two things we got to do as realtors: book appointments and then conduct appointments. Right.
I agree a lot with that. You're gonna see how much I agree with that on my next slide.
Yeah.
Right? And that's from a guy that's never sold real estate in his life, by the way. My next slide, I'm gonna actually show you, break down how I started building my business. When do you start? Okay, so the first time I hired an assistant, I was making $120,000, and that was in 1998. So do the math. What would that look like today?
At least 300.
3, 4?
Yeah.
That's when I first made that leap. Because listen, you get emails from our deals people, like missing this, missing that, right?
Yeah.
You guys are like innocents. I was the worst paperwork realtor ever. So I don't get angry with you guys when you forgot to get, like, you got to get it in eventually, and I always did too. But I don't make money by filling out a piece of paper, right? Or a deal information sheet. So when I got my business to the level where I was doing 20, 30 deals a year, I couldn't keep up with it. And that number was the 120, 130-ish, if I recall correctly, right? And back then, I think it was probably 30,000 was what I had to pay for an assistant, which, you know, I had expenses for all that. Like, you're building a business. If you're opening a Tim's and you're the only employee, you're not gonna have people showing up, right? So you got staff, right? So you got to figure that metric out for yourself. I can't figure that out. You're gonna figure it out today, though, because you're gonna get the list of your budget. And if you actually, and I put everything possible that I can think of that you can assign a budget for it's costing you, it's a cost center for you, right? Think of it these two ways: cost center, profit center. Cost center, profit center. When I did my MBA, when my business part of my MA, it's an MA, not MBA, but the business side of it, it's what I always took away. You're either a profit center in a business or you're a cost center in your business. Doing paperwork is a cost center for me, taking away from profit. You figure that out. Yep.
Usually it's 10 to 15% of what you're making. When you can keep up 10 to 15% of what you're making.
That's a fair number. I agree with that. Yeah. All right.
So can I have a follow-up question?
Sure. Yeah.
So let's say 1 year, last year I made 300, hypothetically.
Okay.
Is that the point I should then move for it? Because this year, not most people didn't make what they made last year.
Yeah, I can't answer that question. You can answer it. When you go through the exercise of figuring out your financial picture, you're going to take a snapshot today this week, when you go through working that, right, with those numbers, you're gonna figure out, maybe it was 200,000 for you. Maybe it's 4, I don't know, right? You asked me what mine was, if I recall, I think I was at about 130 by the time, but this is $1998, right? So this is, well, 26 years ago, right? Okay, and I was, by the way, 4 years already in my business. Like I built my business up because I was hybriding it. I was doing the farming and the hunting hybrid, and now I was kicking out for every person in my list of relationships. I was getting 2 or 3 referrals per year from them. That's not deals, it's referrals. That's opportunities, right? I think they shared with you, you need to go on what, 10 appointments or something to get one, is what Tom Ferry said.
11.
It was 11 to 1, he said. You know, I've seen different numbers, but I kind of agree that's within the range, well, an allowable range, right? Like for every 10, you're going to nail 1. But if you're getting 10 referrals, that number's going way through the roof.
Probably 8 for 9.
Well, yeah. If they're going to buy and sell, it's high. It's a referral. Okay. Next, was there another question? No. Okay. So now we're going to do a little bit of a psychoanalysis here. I'm going to be Freud for a second, or Carl Jung. Anybody heard of Carl Jung as well? Okay. I studied under a professor 40 years, 30 something years ago. That was a student of Carl Jung's. He was one of my professors. I love Carl Jung stuff. Anyway, we're going to look at you and assessing you against an ideal realtor. So it's in your workbook. What page are we on here? We're on page 5. Okay. It's green here. We've got it red in the book. Earlier we said, somebody said Tom Ferry's very focused on lead generation, right? What's the first thing on my list?
Generation.
Wow, isn't that interesting, right? I wrote this book 20 years ago. Lead generation and prospecting. Number 2 is book the appointment, and number 3 is sign contract, right? That is what you do to generate the revenue and the income, the profit for your business. Those 3 magical things. Lead generation / prospecting, it's the same thing to me. Okay, booking appointments and signing the contract. So when we go through each one of these individually, I want you to look at it from 2 points of view. You right now and the ideal realtor that you have in your mind's eye. That could be somebody from our office here. That could be somebody from outside that you like drive by their billboard every day and go, that's my ideal realtor. I don't care who it is, but put that ideal realtor in your mind as well and can compare and contrast yourself to them. Okay, or on some page. Forget it. Okay. So how good are you at lead generation and prospecting? This is your calls, your visits, your social media, your flyers, your door knocking. I don't care what it is. Whatever it is that you've selected, you're a farmer 100%, you're the hunter, you're the hybrid. Give yourself a number out of 1 out of 10. And what's the ideal person? 1 out of 10. Okay. By the way, I've been doing this part of it for 15 years, and I have a lot of cool math on what this looks like the ideal side versus you guys, right? It's really cool. Like tens of thousands of answers I've got on this stuff. So that's the first one. Number 2, how good are you at booking the appointment? And in your mind's eye, how would you imagine that your ideal realtor, how good are they? Are they a 10 out of 10? Are they a 9 out of 10? Are you a 10 out of 10? A 9 out of 10? Or are you a 2? Are you a 3? How good are you at booking the appointment? Would you like me to share with you my $1 million dialogue for booking an appointment? Not to go. Tell them 2 weeks from now. Or would you like me to do it today?
Well, pay you.
Oh, we okay. So this is from Floyd Wickman.
You're right away.
Credit where credit's due. This is not this is Floyd Wickman. And it is a combination of 2 types of closed dialogues. One is called the sharp dialogue. The other is called the alternative of choice. Okay. And, I've enjoyed reading the book, but a lot of the words that we see in here come from past trainers, including some of the stuff I'm going to share with you over the course of my course. Still good. I want you to read it. I want you to digest it. Here it is. This is the sharp close. If I could And I'm gonna go dot, 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 dot. It's where you're gonna fill in the blanks. If I could show you how I could sell your house for the most amount of money in the least amount of time, those are my dot dots. They could be your dot dots, it's still okay. Would you dot, dot, dot? Would you be interested in hearing more about that? It's $1 million dialogue to book an appointment. Who's gonna say no? There will be some people say no. What are we gonna do with those people that say no?
Change them to a yes.
We're gonna try and get them to a yes. If I could show you how I could sell your house for the most amount of money in the least amount of time, would you be interested in hearing more about that? That should generate a yes. We want them to say yes. Would you agree? To an appointment or book an appointment, right? We don't want them to say no. Because most people are gonna say, hey, Matt, that'll be a good time for me to come over and meet you here. What's Matt gonna say? I gotta get back to you, Mike. I gotta check my wife, Mike. I gotta go walk the dogs, Mike. I gotta go to the gym, Mike. Like I'm getting a no or I'm getting a pushback. Would you agree with that? It's because the way you phrased it and asked it. Would you say that the way I asked that question was okay? I haven't asked that type of question in 17 years. But it's what I practiced, rehearsed, and drilled every day of my selling career for 13 years. I started in 1994. I went right into training with Floyd Wickman, got this dialogue trained and taught to me, and I made it internal. It's not a dialogue anymore to me, but that's dialogue. For you today, it's a dialogue. Next week, next month, 6 months from now, it'll be an internalized conversation piece. Okay, that's the first part. Yeah.
If these be reviews, what after looking?
If I could show you how I could sell your house for the most amount of money in the least amount of time, would you be interested in hearing more about that? Now, Floyd's dialogue was, if I could, would you? The dot, dot, dots, the rest of it was me. That's me. You fill that in. I'm telling you though, what I just shared with you, I booked most of my appointments. Because they would say, after I said that, pretty much all the time. Yes. There are some jerks that would say no.
Yeah, let me check my schedule and get back to you.
But first, before you say that, you're probably going to say yes, because we have this unconscious mind that controls everything, right? And the way you ask this, because it's very psychologically driven, the way this is asked, you're pushing out the word yes before your mouth can catch you, right? But you got to follow up that with the close. That was not the close. That's the open. Now there's a close to that. Okay. Should I teach them the close today or should I wait till next week? Okay. Okay, so the close of it, great. So I got you to say what?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, great. When would be a good time to meet? Would tonight at 8 or tomorrow at 5 p.m. work better? Now, I did not pause when I said when would be a good time to meet. I didn't let you say, well, I have to get back to you.
So you dictated, not asked.
Correct. And I gave a choice. People like choices in their life. But people also need to be dictated a little bit too. This is being a ninja, okay? Being a ninja. Great. When would be a good time to meet now? Would tonight at 8 o'clock or tomorrow at 5 o'clock work? Now, I'll be the first here to say, not everybody's going to agree now, right, with you and say, oh, tonight at 8 works, Mike. That's perfect. Great. Let me pencil you in at 8 o'clock. Not everybody's going to do that. Some people like Matt over there is going to say, what, Matt?
Gotta check with my wife.
You know what, Matt? I agree with you. I got to do that too. So let me pencil you in for tomorrow at 5 And if you need to change it, get back to me.
So we get.
And I use the word pencil, because what can we do with a pencil? Erase it, right? So I've generated a lead, and now I'm going through the process of booking the appointment. There's a dialogue, it's $1 million dialogue for you. If I could, would you? Is the sharp part of it. It's the open, and the close is great. When would be a good time? Alternative of choice, either 8 o'clock or 5. You make up the numbers. It could be 6 o'clock and 2 o'clock. I don't care. That's your choice. You fill in the blanks. Who thinks they can now book appointments with simple dialogue like that? Good. Now, can I recommend one thing for you? Practice it with somebody that you are friends with before you actually try to do it in real life. Okay? Because I made the mistake of running right out there and starting to do this, and I screwed it up. No. If I could not sell your house, like, you screw it up. You want to practice your dialogue so it's part of your internal dialogue. You can't screw it up. I can't screw it up 17 years after stopping selling. I have never used that dialogue. I don't sell them. I stopped selling, right? But it felt natural to you, right? Yeah. The last time I actually would have said that dialogue, when's the last time I taught this course? May? Yeah. I've never used the dialogue since May. But it's here, right? Okay. Signing the contract. If you do not walk out of there, out of the appointment with a signed contract, you're not getting paid. Okay. Now, I don't have any today for you surefire dialogues because that's part of my listing course, right? I got a whole course on this, but I want you to be able to get the appointments, book those appointments, get them in there. And you may already have your techniques of closing on the contract. You may not. But what that is, it's them seeing what your services are going to be, what's the value you're bringing to the equation for them to sign on that contract. But we'll do the listing presentation course that I do, which is my third course. I'll go through how that looks, okay? So that you're going to be able to sign off on the contract. Those are your 3 most important things. Those are your money-making activities as a realtor. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, number 4. These are all important too, but not your top 3. Not your gold medal, silver, and bronze medal. You're in the Olympics. Those are the people that go on the podium. These people here get nice little letters, by the way. Oh, you finished. You finished
First loser.
Correct. You're first loser, you're second loser. Exactly. Right? But they are important. How good are you? Remember, we're comparing and contrasting between you and the ideal realtor. How good are you at developing a plan for a client? Now, this has got to be your prescription for a client. The unique prescription for the client. We provide, where did I brought some of this stuff here to show you. We provide for you guys a general diagnosis thing for free, right? Everybody knows this. Do you give a name? Do they put my, oh, yeah, they put my name in there, right? If you have a name of a buyer or a seller, you get this for free, okay? This is generic. This is WebMD stuff. Okay, remember you've gone to WebMD?
Yeah.
Right. We're not going to go to our doctor and say, I went to WebMD, I have cancer, and I need to get chemo, right? Sorry to say.
At that point, you have a file.
They're amazing, but it's not a specialized individual prescription. This is what you have to figure out and develop yourself. You have to have your own buyer presentation, your own listing presentation, because you want to develop a client-specific plan. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. Nobody wants to be treated like everybody else. Somebody said, one of the whys, or one of the things was, we're special. We're all special. So make the solution special, right? Take control. What does that mean? Well, that means that when you go to your appointment, who's in charge? You. Not the client. Again, I'll use the doctor analogy. I'm not going to go into the doctor's office and tell them that I read some stuff on WebMD and my friend at my work told me this and that, and this is what I need you to do and prescribe for me, right? Your doctor's going to probably unpatient you. how good are you at taking control at the kitchen table? Because if you're not, and you're going in and you're gonna be controlled, you're like the dog, like a dog, I have two of them.
Waiting for the ball.
Right, I'm the master and I tell you to sit, roll over. I'm in control of my dogs. Are they in control of you as the realtor like that? They shouldn't be. They shouldn't be. Ability to qualify. How good are you at getting them and determining whether they have the capability or capacity to sell their house or buy a house? Remember, now, notice how I said both. Sell a house and buy a house. We only think of the buying side. Do they qualify to buy? Do they qualify to sell? What could be some things that you would maybe not want to take a listing for today where they don't qualify to sell their house?
Mental,
Oh, that's good too. I wasn't thinking about that. Good. If they don't have the mental capacity, they can't
That's a
actually
good word.
sign off on the contract. That's very good. Right.
Lien on the house,
Pardon me?
lien on the house.
Which?
title.
Lien.
Oh, yes, liens, exactly. So they have financial distress in their life, right? Maybe they've used their home as an ATM machine, right? They've got these things called HELOCs, home equity lines of credit, right? Maybe they've racked that sucker up. And yes, we've assessed their house at $1 million, but they owe, and the value is 1.1, right? Because that's what they've leveraged themselves up to. They got all this debt. They don't have any equity in the home. Guess what you've just become when you go to list their house? Charity. Because you're not going to get paid. Worst thing is that when you put a listing on MLS, it's a contract that we're going to pay 2.5% to the cooperating broker. So you may actually be helping that distressed seller to pay off some of that. May. I'm not saying you will, but it becomes a complication that you don't want to have in your life. I don't want to wake up and go, oh geez, I went and listed Indy's house and that guy owes this thing. There's more owing than there is equity in the property value, right? Yes.
But doesn't that usually depend on the number to have, because it's usually a fine line between a quick sell because the customer has to get out of the house and
Could be.
a troubled house?
Could be. Here's my experience. When people get into financial distress, and we're using the mortgage here as an example, right? They got too much owing on the mortgage and the HELOCs and stuff. By the way, when the last thing or the very last thing people will stop making payments on is their house, just so you know that. Because they've already said to the property tax people in the city, we don't care about you, so I haven't paid property taxes for a long time. Their credit cards probably haven't been paid, their car payments, maybe their school loan. Those things they stop paying way before the house. The house is the last thing.
Yes.
So when you come on the scene, there might be a little sliver bit of equity there, but there's a whole bunch of other people that are ahead of you in line to get paid. Okay. All I'm saying, it's the ability to
So
qualify.
you gotta play the numbers.
You have to do a CAT scan, MRI, X-rays on this person and their house and them as a buyer to find out where they are financially. That's all I'm saying. Okay. You want to know that. On the sell side, John shaking his head, you probably experienced this in your career where you've gotten into situations where there's no money left. In fact, a week ago today, I got a call at about 11:30 in the morning from a lawyer on one of our listings that wasn't able to close. Why? Exactly what I just told you. Discovered all of these debts that had to get paid off. And here's the thing, we're in the listing side. They had to come to us because we're holding the deposit. And so I negotiated because they didn't want us to get paid the full amount. And I'm like, well, we don't have to move the money. We don't have to move the money if there's a completed transaction. That's not happening. A mutual release, that's not happening. And a court order, I don't think you can get a court order today. So I want to get paid. I want a realtor to get paid. And we'll do this for you right now. So we will transfer the money before you close it because they needed some of the money to pay off the property taxes. And I made sure I got a direction in writing from the clients, both sides, both lawyers, that we still get paid, and we got paid.
Was it
Does happen. Pardon me?
Was the deposit enough to cover the 5% and the
Yes.
property taxes
Yeah.
and everything else?
Yes, so if you're on the listing side, I teach this in my listing course, but I'm gonna tell you now. You always want to make sure that your fee is covered with a deposit. That's like, it's a no-brainer, yeah, exactly.
No less than.
No less than. That's my advice to you, right? Now, there's some jurisdictions, believe it or not, in Ontario, that they don't care about the deposit. You'll see like, they'll take $1,000. I think that's outrageous, like literally outrageous. When I was selling properties outside of my trading area, and I'll say even, not anymore, but 20 years ago in Guelph, it was $1,000 or $1,500. I'd come in with a 5% or more, and the realtor is like, wow, this is amazing. What are you doing that for? Well, one, it's good faith. Two, it covers our fees. It's a win-win, right? Like, my buyer's serious. Don't be afraid. They're not gonna leave the table for $1,000. Take my 1,000 and sue me. Most people don't sue, by the way, right? Out of 100 situations, maybe 5 will sue. 95 will walk away. And what did you get? You got my $1,000. So there's no skin in the game, right? So you want that skin in the game. Big time. Ability.
Sorry, I see a lot of agents doing that, 1% cash back or 1% discount or.
Sure. Charity.
Okay,
Yeah, I
so
think
that's what it is.
I think you're running that terminal business. Okay. When you're doing that. Yeah. Sometimes you have to. Don't you have a choice?
We do have a choice.
We talked about those whys. You want to be your own boss. You want freedom. You want all these things.
When you're competing against, like, say, 518
No.
and, you know, situations.
Does Rolls Royce compete with Chevy? No, I'm asking you a question. Does Rolls Royce compete with GM, Chevrolet, Chrysler?
No.
Why? Well, they sell the same thing.
People
They
want
sell this thing that's got 4 wheels, an engine, and transmission, maybe air conditioning, something. They're selling a product, but the product value.
I'll give you a scenario. Okay,
You're gonna do what?
I'll give you a scenario.
Okay.
Let's say a buyer, you're selling pre-construction, a buyer. They have their cousin as an agent.
Okay.
You're in this market, you get them the unit, the buyer is like, okay, my cousin is giving me 2% back out of 4%.
Okay.
Would you let them go to their cousin, or how would you manage to get your 4%?
I was not a discount realtor, right? So you make the choice. That's what I said. You are your own boss, right? That's one of those wise
Will you
ways.
let go of the deal?
Sure.
I'll show them the difference, I'll show them the difference between my work and the other guy's work.
That's why you
Yeah,
have to have
so pre-con is an interesting animal, by the way, because the cousin may not have access to the property because they may not have.
Let's assume that. Let's assume that.
So then you're just commoditizing yourself. So you want to be a commodity, right? You know what a commodity is and right? You don't. Okay. Funny enough, we're going to talk about commodities in about 10 minutes. We're going to talk about gold. Is gold a commodity? An ounce of gold, doing pretty good right now, by the way.
It's gonna be $3 grand.
It's going to probably hit 3. Silver, oil. Is oil a commodity?
Yep.
Okay. Is corn a commodity? Okay. So if a gallon of oil or barrel, sorry, a barrel of oil is trading on a stock exchange here in Canada, TSX, or the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, that's where they trade commodities in States, or London Stock Exchange, is the barrel, now I'm saying the same equivalent, like sweet crude, right? We'll just say that one, okay? Because there's different levels, values, qualities of oil.
For different quality.
Correct. Is it going to sell differently price-wise in London, Toronto, or Chicago? Forget about the exchange rate, by the way. Forget about the pound, the dollar, and no,
Same.
same. So do you want to be a commodity or a commoditized type of realtor saying that I'm the same as the cousin? So because I'm the same as the cousin, I'm going to give you the 2% back. Maybe your answer is yes, and that's fine. But you ask me specifically me, and I say, no, I'm not a commodity. I bring extra value to the table, right? What's your value going to be that you're going to bring that's going to convince or persuade, because persuade's up there too, right? Because we're actually, that's the next one we're talking about is persuade. Am I good enough to persuade that person that I'm worth the extra 2%? Because if all they want is 2% from me, they have no value. And guess what? Every referral I get from that person, what are they gonna do?
They're gonna be 2%, plus they might play you against him to get the cheapest
Yeah.
price.
So your choice, you asked me specifically me, I gave you my answer.
So how would you overcome that objection?
Have more in
How
your
would you,
pipeline.
how would you?
I have more information, I have better value, right? Like, again, we're in an artificial environment here in the classroom. And to be able to project all this value, we've seen value in the hour we've been, that I bring a lot of value as an experienced person. People are gonna see that when I interact with them when I was selling, right? If I was to go back in, which I'm not going to, they would see that. There's gonna be a difference right away. So I'm gonna talk about things that the cousin doesn't even know what it is, right? Hey, does your cousin know this? Does the cousin know that if you do not use the on-site lender to get pre-qualified and sign in with, that in the 3-4 year future, that if the rates have gone up like they have right now, by the way, right now, you have buyers that can't close because they did not align with the on-site lender. So I just gave you one little bit of information. They don't have to close with the on-site lender, but get connected to them. They could choose at the last minute to go somewhere else if they financially can. But I just shared with you, probably worth 2%, I would think, your fee, to say, go and get qualified and sign in with the on-site lender. You don't have to close with them, but when you go in their funnel, their pipeline, they will fund the deal 4 years from now if nobody else funds it. Is that worth 2%? Or is that worth, and this is happening today, current, right now, buyers that cannot close, they've given $50,000, $100,000 deposits, and they can't close. So then they try this thing called an assignment. Who's heard of assignments? What do you think wins in assignments? The sale of assignments. The assignor or the assignee? Does everybody know who the assignor is first? Who's the assignor? Original buyer or the assignee. Today, I'm not talking about a couple of years ago, I'm talking today. Is the assignor financially win or the assignee? Right. So 2% is nothing money when you got a buyer that can't close and they got to go and become an assignor and giving the property away because their cousin didn't tell them 4 years ago, sign on with the on-site bank.
Yeah. They don't mind.
Did I just convince you why you should use me? Right. Fine. Good. Yes. Sign them up with a buyer agency agreement, by the way, too. And they can't go, which is my second class. Sign people up on buyer representation agreements. Sign people up on
Legal guy.
buyer. Sign people up on. Sign people up on.
Yeah.
Okay. I was an arbitrator for Trev for 8 years. Guess what I arbitrated for 8 years? Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of cases of buyer representation agreements, signed, not signed, and or being stolen. Very few people in the industry have done as many cases as I did. I was chair of it, by the way, for all of Mississauga and professional standards. And I just got hired, I'm not leaving my job here, but Rico, who's Rico? I just got hired as a subject matter expert for Rico. They picked 100 people out of the province of Ontario. And how many people are in the province again? 105,000. They picked 100 people to be a subject matter expert to help Rico better the education system in the province. Yeah. What are you going to sign again?
Yeah.
Okay. You get the DRA signed. Can they go to the cousin? No. So I just saved you a whole bunch of money if you do it right. Yes.
How do you deal with implied assignment, implied representation?
I'm sorry, but
Implied representation.
impolite.
Implied.
Oh, implied. It's like impolite. What is it? Sure, maybe. It implied. Listen, in our business, everything has to be committed to writing in our business. Write this down. It's called the Statute of Fraud and Limitation. That is the actual law that governs organized sale of real estate in Canada. The Statute of Fraud and Limitation. So if you are implied or you're verbal, good luck to you standing up in court and winning. It's got to be reduced to writing. You cannot transfer title without it being in writing.
Text messages are fine too. That or has to be like emails.
Text message? Yeah. What? Tell me which text message.
I mean like writing, or does it have to be like via email, like a whole?
Well, if you're going to convey title, what's
Oh, not title, okay, I missed that part.
Yeah. So if you are engaging in an agency relationship, I know they talk about this in the RICO information guide, right? The implied agency. Be very careful about worrying about that's going to, you're going to be held to account on implied agency, right? I know they write that stuff down, but in reality, I've never heard of a court case of implied agency. There may be one out there. And by the way, I do read them. And you can too, for free. You can go on to CanLI, C-A-N-L-I, CanLI. All the court cases in Canada are published there, including a whole bunch of cool ones in our business. Realtors getting sued and losing, realtors suing people and winning. It's cool stuff to read. CanLI, C-A-N-L-I, CanLI.
Open room as well.
Pardon me?
Open room. There's the two ones, right? Yeah, but that is like the agents that are not doing their job, so they go there and they, what's your name?
Oh, on the RICO site? So on the RICO site, like you go inside their complaints process. If you violated the act, there'll be a hyperlink on your name with your case, and they'll be there for 5 years. Yeah.
I have a question on, so family relationships, when it comes to commission discounts, what's your take on that? Should you discount, how much, or none at all?
I hated working with family.
I mean, I'm going through and I'm kind of like.
My youngest brother, after showing him this is in 2003, I was showing him a whole bunch of properties, went on family vacation. My brother goes, surprise property. I come back, he's so excited, and hey Mike, I just bought a property. And I learned my lesson that if you're gonna work with family, you gotta put them in buyer agency agreements. Right? So I did.
Yeah.
And I didn't talk to my brother for a long time. I was just like,
Yeah, I feel, okay. So
I hate working with family.
should you,
Strangers is what I want.
Are you gonna charge
Right.
me?
That's Craig, by the way. He's met my brother. Yeah, he kisses my butt to this day. You got your hand up, Pat? Somebody, what?
10-minute warning.
What?
10-minute warning.
Oh, cow, okay.
She had a follow-up though.
no, I was just wondering, so do you just avoid them altogether? Do you do a discount if they, how do you what would you recommend?
So I did not like working, nor did I work with family.
Okay.
That's because I want to enjoy the holidays with my family, even my parents. So I was not licensed anymore. I bought their house and I used somebody else to do the paperwork and stuff, right? So I was like, I just don't want to be part of that. Right. Okay, so I gotta go fast now. Okay, what is your job? So we're on page number 6. Is it 10 minutes to 1.5 hours or 10 to 2?
It's almost 1 o'clock.
Holy cow. Okay. Was it okay though so far?
Yeah.
Okay. So what is your job?
Charge it for it.
Here's the miraculous thing about our business. Every day in the business of real estate, you wake up unemployed. Therefore, your job is to generate leads. So welcome to this crazy world in business we call real estate. You are unemployed every day. You got to go find business. So this is fill in the blanks for you guys, by the way. So if you go to page 6, the top, holy cow, they're gonna get mad at me for being this long.
It's always the first class. Everything after this is okay.
Okay.
It's just the first one because it's the introduction.
Yeah, so if you want to take photographs of this, you can take photographs too, and I'll go really quick. So think of it, I alluded to it before. Oh, people are talking too close.
We're just getting a lot of background.
Oh,
noise,
okay.
so I'm trying to get people to quiet.
Okay. Consider what a mining company does when they're looking for gold or diamonds. Now, Think of Barrick Gold. What do they gotta do? They gotta go through a lot of rock to hit pay dirt, to find that 1 ounce of gold that's gonna be $3,000 pretty soon, right? This is what you're doing as a realtor. You're going through a lot of rock to find that ounce of gold. The ounce of gold is that client that's going to be your walking, talking billboard for life, okay? Make sense? Can I go to the next one? I'm gonna go really quick through, yeah? Okay. Look, systems are critical. Okay, so we talked a lot about systems already. This is for lead generation, qualifying, showing property, maintaining contact. This is where you may want to hire an administrator. If you've gotten your business to that level, hire somebody to outsource that. I will use the term, and think about this, McDonald's. Any ever been to McDonald's? Who's never been to McDonald's? We've all been to McDonald's. This is called McDonaldizing your business. Okay, there's a great, who has Netflix, by the way? Everybody got Netflix? Go to Netflix and watch this movie this weekend. The Founder. Oh, The Founder. Michael Keaton plays Ray Kroc. He was the guy that stole the McDonald's business from the McDonald's brothers. Okay, the McDonald's brothers created a speedy system for restaurants. The speedy system was be able to make a hamburger, French fries, and a milkshake and get it to you like in less than a minute.
Yeah.
Back when they were competing with drive-ins, you would drive in, you'd order, it would take 20 minutes to half an hour to get your food. They were delivering food in a minute. That's the McDonald's you know today, right? Like you go to McDonald's today and you're getting the food out. Now, I'm not talking about quality, it's probably not the same quality, but it's a system. It's a McDonaldized system. I was in a seminar and I heard about Ray Kroc. It's when I heard back in probably 96, 97. And I'm like, this is exactly what real estate is missing. System. So that's when I started creating all these other systems in my business and my program that I'm going to teach you momentarily here. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You're going to get it for free by me, okay? For free. System's going to create efficiency, consistency, compliance, and differentiation in your business. You're not going to, when somebody calls you or you call somebody to generate the lead, you book the appointment, have to go and find out what I'm going to talk about. Yes, you're going to do the little research for the area, for your CMA and stuff, but the bulk of your business has already been done because you systematized it, okay? Compliance. I do a lot of regulatory stuff with RICO. You don't want to get in their crosshairs. I do a lot of court case stuff. You don't want to be in their court or crosshairs. If you have a system that you've done your business every day the same way, and you have to go to court, you have to go to RICO, you show them exactly how you conduct your business, you're probably going to walk away unscathed. If you don't have that, even if you're innocent, they're going to grill you and they're going to make you feel like this to get you to crack because you don't have a system. If anybody in the audience has ever worked or had to deal with a RICO complaint, I deal with a lot of them, you'll know what I'm talking about. You do not want to get on the wrong side of that. It's stressful. Okay, systems are critical. Sphere of influences, okay. I usually like to talk a lot about this, but I'm going to go really quickly. Create a list. Throw everybody that you know by name up against the wall. You ever heard that term? Throw it up against the wall and see what sticks. Okay. How we're going to stick them? We're going to create this segmented list based upon A+, A, B, C, and D. A+, A, B, C, and D. This is out of corporate America during the 1990s. A lot of corporations came up with this idea that they were going to identify their clients based upon this. Brian Buffini teaches this in his system, okay? It's not his. Corporate America came up with this. A+. An A+ will always use you and refer you. So write this down. A+ will always use you and refer you. In fact, actually with Brian Buffini, he calls that, they're your walking, talking billboard. That's what an A+ is. Believe me, in your database, you're not going to have a lot of them. After 13 years, I maybe had 20. That's it. Okay? That person's going to kick out Pardon me?
The most loyal people.
Most loyal, that's a great word. They are loyal to a team. Listen, if they're at their office and they're over here and they hear somebody over there talking about real estate, they're like, whoa, Matt, well, you gotta call my realtor, Mike. He's my guy. That's an A+ client. Again, that's why you're not gonna have a lot of them. Maybe 20 at peak. An A, they're loyal. They're most likely to buy and refer from you. Again, A+ is always will. A most likely will. This is where the A has to be on your relationship system. This is the farming part of it, right? You're cultivating these people, staying in touch 30 to 36 times, right? The B is likely to use you and refer you. Not most and not for sure, likely, okay? They're not loyal. A C is a free agent, so they're definitely not loyal. They're not likely to buy with you, not likely to refer you. However, they're there. They may turn into something. And a D is we delete them. They are never going to buy with you. They're never going to refer you. And they will send you to the lunatic asylum. And they will cast shadow clouds on those good people you're working with. So you get rid of them. A professor of mine one time told me, psychology professor said, listen, think of yourself as a garbage truck, Mike. I'm like, okay, garbage truck. I get with that. He goes, what do garbage trucks have? They have garbage. Yeah, okay, I'm following you. Now, these people drive around with their garbage trucks, with their own garbage in their garbage trucks every day. And some of these people, they like to drive into your front lawn and back up their garbage truck and dump their garbage on your beautiful front lawn. Are you gonna let them do that?
No.
No. That's your D. Get rid of them. That's your choice. When you build that business, you're your own boss. Fire those people. Get rid of them. Refer them to the agent you don't want. They will embrace that. They'll love that. Qualify the list. Do they have the capability, capacity to buy, sell real estate? Okay. And timelines of it. Develop consistency and habits to maintain and grow. You're going to see that momentarily. Develop systems to maintain and grow. That's the same thing, Matt. What happened there? 4 and 5 is the same.
Your presentation.
Oh, we screwed up. Number 6, what is your sphere of influence? I put hockey, baseball. What is yours? Maybe it's you're into running, you're into knitting, you're into the gym. I don't know, whatever. That's your stuff.
That's not on here.
What's that?
Number 6. So that should be number 5.
Okay. We know we got an edit for the next one. Okay.
I'll make a note.
All right, man. Okay, next one is the sphere of influence of the plan. Create and build everybody that you know has to be by first name, their pets, their birthdays, their anniversaries, that kind of stuff, right? Qualifying sort, that's A+, A, B, C, and D. We went through that. Communicate. What is your plan for 30 to 36 touch points a year? So where we're talking about in person, phone calls, text, email, social media. You figure out what that is for you to get to 30 to 36. I'm not going to tell you what to do. That's for you to figure out. Yeah.
Did you say 30 to 60 per touch per person, like per client
Yes.
per year?
Yes.
30 to 36.
30 to 30.
You got it.
Okay.
Now,
Around
when I sold, I did 18 to 24, but I didn't have the type of resources you guys have. I would be that number all day long or more because of what I can do. You can have DocuSign.
Yeah.
Like I had to drive to get signatures.
Yeah.
You guys put it in DocuSign and get it signed at like 11 o'clock at night. I know you do that because you sent it to me. I get them at 1 o'clock and I'm like, what the hell? Anyway, you can hit 30 to 36 all day long with what's at your fingertips. Here the company do the videos. 1 video a month. They'll chop it up into make it 3. How many's that? You got your 36 right there. Just do a video. What's the next big announcement you're going to see in real estate? It affects real estate. Bank Canada, October 23rd. What do you think is going to happen? Gonna go down a half a point?
Half a
Quarter
point at least.
Is it, I care because I like lower interest rates.
Inflation is 1.6.
That's right. That's another good number. Like under 2 is good, right? Bank of Canada, when they see under 2, they can lower the rates. That's when, whenever I'm in Ottawa, as GR guy, I was walking in front of the Bank of Canada. It's right across from Parliament Hill. I say a prayer for you guys. Say a prayer for all of us. My prayers are being answered. Fine. Okay. That's an excellent opportunity to do a video. But don't do a video like everybody else does. Hey, the Bank of Canada's going to do a quarter point. What does that mean to a buyer? That extra quarter point. What's your buying power increased by? Well, maybe we can talk about the new announcement that's going to come as well in December, middle of December, right? The CMHC's raised the rates. Maybe combine both those messages in one. They will do an amazing thing for you at our graphics video thing, right? You get, I think, what is it, three a month?
2, so that was 2 long or 4 short.
A month, right?
A month.
A month. You shoot a video, they chop it up into 3 or 4 for free. They do the graphics, the sound. I mean, come on, people. What more do you want?
You're not paying.
You're not paying for it, but you're gonna get the benefit of it, right? We bring you to the water. That old expression.
And did you have a great?
Okay. Yeah. Next one. Where am I going, Matt? Click. Definition. Okay. This is my definition for university. Gotta go. I know. Sorry. I really didn't have my watch. The continuous process of making deliberate and systematic choices to predict with the greatest certainty the future viability of your business. Viability, health, not terminal business. Okay. And you're predicting it. Doesn't mean you have to attain it, but you're predicting it. Use the SMART system: specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. That's the Harvard system of business. Yeah, if you want, this is being recorded, so you can go back and watch these segments and fill in the blanks. Okay. I'll give you 1, 2. Okay. All right, next slide. Here we go. This is my system for free. It's a proactive system of selling real estate. By the way, one of the best studies ever done was done at the Notre Dame University in the States by a professor named Michael Grant, and he researched realtors and looked at proactive behavior, tagging that to success. I used part of this paper when I wrote my thesis. Very good stuff. This thing here came out of me, though, before going back to the master's degree, to figure out how I was going to keep myself on track. So what did I do? I assigned the different lead generation activities. See that column right there? Activities. And then I assigned a point to them. Ascending order, meaning lower point for lower quality activity. Okay? So sending a flyer, I gave myself a quarter of a point. Cold call, 8 point. Door knock, 8 point. Everybody following me so far? Is it making sense? Right? As you correct. As you go up the ladder of higher quality lead generation activities, you're going to get a higher point for it. So we're well,
Go to the next page. I think there's multiple pages on the presentation.
Right.
And you'll get some higher values.
So I have a little contest. You're supposed to prod me.
Yes.
Hey, Mike.
Your pin. You're giving away a pin.
Oh yeah, Mike's wearing a Royal LePage pin. Did anybody notice that today, by the way? Wow. Okay. So when I sold real estate, I always had a Royal LePage pin on. Okay. So I'm gonna give this pin away to a lucky winner today. I wrote down 4 numbers on the board: 8.15, 4.52, and 1.37. Does anybody know what those numbers represent?
No.
Your score?
Nothing to do with my score.
Can't be inflation rates.
Inflation rates?
It can't be inflation rates.
Did inflation get to over 8%?
Maybe it's a time.
Where were you?
Yes,
Huh?
it did.
Huh?
Of course it did. That's when the Bank of Canada made its first rate cut increases. Has inflation ever been at 4.5? Recently? Has it ever been at 1.37?
I believe it's the time distribution of the day.
Pardon me?
It's the time distribution of the day. If we would start with
Time it takes to
And
take,
it wasn't inflation either, but that's when most people will do. Time it takes what?
time it takes to do each of these things, or
Nope.
a total of the biggest
I gotta keep my
numbers?
pen, I'm gonna keep my interest rates, no. Okay, I'm gonna do this. Can you see that on the screen there, Matt?
I've got it zoomed right
Oh,
in.
you were the top 8.15%, then you became the top 4.52% of the realtors, and now you're.
Who, me? I don't sell anymore. Nothing about me.
It has something to do with sales of homes, right? No? Am I getting one more?
Someone that follows this, the numbers, the top 1.37.
I guess you get 15.
Yeah, Matt. I think Tim wins, deals per agent.
Correct.
And Kobe was a close second, but I have them both at 109, so, but Tim was first.
I'll give both of them. It's
Okay.
both 109.
They're both 109.
Okay, so I'll get you, I got actually another pin. It's a different one than this one, but I'll get you. You're gonna have to send them to.
That was Tim Swift and Colby Bain.
Oh, Kobe too, eh? Colby, what are you doing here watching me, man? Holy cow.
Fixed.
I'll get you up. So what does that look like? So in 2004, 8.15 was the average realtors selling real estate that year. So the average realtor sold 8.15 homes in 2004. So I did this, I went back 20 years, right? So I keep all that data somewhere here in my, I chart this stuff. I'm a chart guy. I love charts, right? So if you look back, I was still selling. The average realtor that I competed with sold 8.15 homes that year. 10 years later, it was almost half of that, right? 2014, it was down to 4.52. This is the current number to the end of August. So I did not include this, sorry, I did include the end of September, not October, because it hasn't closed yet. That is what the average realtor is selling in the Toronto regional real estate market. 1.37. I show you that as a kind of cementing in your mind the competition and the opportunity, scare tactic, yeah, thank you. Because we want you to do the activities. The average person's, would you agree with me, not doing a lot of activities, right? Because they're only selling that, 1.3. Here in this office, in this company, we are a lot higher than that. A lot higher. We're like,
What is that number?
Why is that?
in between here.
Why is that?
Why is what?
Why they went down?
Hobbyists.
It's actually-
Hobbyists.
So what was the number of realtors in 2004?
Yeah.
That's the question.
Yeah, I got that number too. So in 2004, there was 20,500 realtors. In 2014, there was 40,000 realtors. So you know, I write that here. Now, 2004, the average sale price is probably for a detached size over a log Brampton, maybe, let's say 250, would probably the average sale price, 300, something like that, right? And this number here was 40,000. And then right now, I'll say 75,000. That's the population. So you're competing with more people. Now, in 2004, there was 83,000 sales. This year, we're going to probably hit about 65,000 sales. So the sales have dropped off and the realtor population has exploded.
Could you shake your clicker for me?
Shake my clicker. Okay.
Something's happened on my screen. I think everything's still okay at home though.
Okay. All right.
You're good, continue.
Anyway, so we'll get you another pin, but I want you to see that because you are, it's massive competition, right? It's more It's never been more prevalent for you to differentiate yourself from your competition. Again, that little conversation we had, I gave you a couple little slivers of things to differentiate yourself. You got to bring 20, 30, 40 of those things to the table for them to buy your Rolls-Royce service. That's what you're providing, right? Okay, so in this here, yes.
What's the earthly signature number on average?
I think we're about 7-ish. Yeah, I'd have to double check that. That kind of number resonates with me. We're way above the average, right? So you want to do CMAs, you want to get on the board for this contest, you want to make your dream income, your whys to make that money. This is a system for you to adopt today in lead generation activities where you can keep yourself on track. And you know what? I almost was going to go right with that up on that screen. Matt was going to laugh at me because I've done it before. I've actually used the marker on the screen and you don't do that. So 250 points per week. Who cannot do 250 points in lead generation per week in a system like this? Nobody better raise their hand. I was doing 3,000 to 4,000 a week in my business. Okay, I'm saying 250. Let's get you guys started, and then maybe 2 weeks from now you're going to make your punch up to 500. And if I go to that second page,
Sorry, I had to actually turn that off. My screen was freaking out.
oh,
So
you said there was a second page.
it's in the book, I guess, not on the
Oh, is it on
presentation.
the-
Yeah.
Okay, so if you look at CMAs, it's 50 on page 2, right? You need to do 5 CMAs a week to get your 250. And you get on the board to try and win a contest. How cool is that? Focus on CMAs. CMAs are your listings. Your listings are your product inventory on your shelf of your retail store. Listings is the name of the game. Retired agents become list. And stop listing. You can't stop listing. There's retired agents right now that call themselves active realtors because they don't have listings. They're retired. They don't have listings, okay? Next is the 6 C's of selling. This was part of my research. This is my stuff personally. Contact, communicate, convert, contract, cash in, and chart. Yeah, take the pictures. Or you can come back to the video as well. This here embraces the point system. It all flows, okay? Contact, communicate, convert, contract, cash in, chart. Lead generation activities. Wow, this thing keeps on popping up everywhere. Everybody talks about that. It is the business. Communicate, your method. I don't care what your method is. Just get out there and do it. Your frequency, 30 to 36 times. You should educate them when you do that. October 23rd, Bank of Canada Act. How's that going to impact an individual buyer and connect that with what's going to happen December 15th with the CMHC changes? Those are education things. Instead of like, oh, the Bank of Canada reduced the rate by a quarter point. Yeah. What does that mean? Everybody else is parroting that information. Who cares? Convert, book the appointment, meeting. What does CETO stand for? CETO Gaston, Blue Jay manager? No. CETO stands, and I'll teach this next week, come into office for a buyer. Come into office. It's FOIA, 100%. You don't want to go running out showing properties to somebody you don't know. Dangerous. Your safety and security is worth way more than a commission check. And there have been realtors that have been murdered. We had the son of one of them on our Signature Live about 2 years ago. His mother was abducted, held for ransom, and they murdered her. Okay.
There was one recently in Markham.
And there was the lady at Markham. It's home really close, right? Cash in. This is your reward. It could be financial, professional, personal. That's yours. Figure it out. Chart. If you don't have this system in place, track them using the CRM. I highly recommend. If you do not have a CRM, customer relationship management platform, right? There's lots of them out there. You need to track and follow up that system with people. I want to know, is Jason the guy that sent me 5 referrals last year, or is he the guy that sent me 0? And if he sent me 0, he's not an A+ anymore.
He's
No, he's not a D, he's probably gonna be a B or an A, right? But I wanna find out, I will not know that if I don't track it, right? Like, I said A pluses were about 20, and people moved out of A pluses to A because of that. It's a thing in psychology called perceived indifference. Perceived indifference. Indifference. What does this mean? I'm not talking to my people 30 to 36 times, engaging in them. If I've just sold their house or they bought a house and I disappear, psychologically, they think I don't care anymore. That's what perceived indifference means. I don't care. All I cared about was making a commission, a sale. Don't be that person. That A plus that Jason was, he went down to a B is because of perceived indifference. If I don't chart my system, I don't know that happened. And what happens, I find out, Jason, the hell, he listed his house with Matt. What the hell happened? I happened. My fault, not yours. I let you get away, right?
Can you use bait to get replies?
Use what?
Bait, like that, like you said, the interest rate, like the difference.
Like bait, like fishing bait?
Yeah.
Of course, sure.
Like the difference between Prime and Canada.
100%.
Things like that, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Start your business plan. We talked about work. Yeah, this does require a little bit of work. Like you have to do some stuff. Stay motivated. Intake. You have every day 60,000 what? Yes, every one of us has 60,000 or more of these things every day. Thoughts. Thoughts are broken up into two different things. These are thoughts. There's two types of thoughts. Anybody know what the two types of thoughts are? Positive and negative. Yeah, they're there, but they're not the two. If they fall into the two categories, and they can be in both. Some are conscious, some are, yes. Yes. Okay. They are there. I'm not saying no, but these are the two high-level categories.
Destructive.
Routine.
Productive.
Or non-routine. Everything you said is all right, all correct. They fall into these types of categories. Because I could today have a destructive thought for the first time, and that's a non-routine thought that I've never had before. That's what that means. A routine thought is something to have every day. What kind of thought do we have every day? You wake up this morning. We all woke up this morning, right? I presume we all woke up. What did we, yeah. What kind of thoughts did we have when we first woke up this morning? Where's my phone? 100%.
Coffee, breakfast.
Coffee, breakfast. What else?
Thankfulness, gratefulness.
Thankfulness.
Do I have
Thank God.
appointments?
Do I have appointments? Jim,
How to have a productive day.
how do I have a productive day? Did anybody think about brushing your teeth? Stay away then. Taking a shower? Getting your kids ready? Do I have enough gas in my car to get to where I'm going today? These are kind of routine thoughts we have every day. Non-routine thoughts, we don't have them every day. I guarantee you today, you probably heard a couple hundred non-routine thoughts just from me. Would you agree with that? They've heard things today they've never heard before. That's where the golden magic's going to be for you, to stay positive and motivated to make a change, because the change is going to take more than 30 days. It's going to take 6 months or more. Is the non-routine thoughts, not the routine ones. If you go back tomorrow morning and wake up and go back on that cycle of routine thoughts and forget about what I said, or forget about this beautiful book that I made for you guys, and put it on a shelf and let it get dusty, I can't help it, right? But if you incorporate these non-routine thoughts, those non-routine thoughts will help with the change, okay? Each and every one of you, those non-routine thoughts are going to be different. Some of the things I said are not going to hit with any of you, and some will, right? Your choice. This is where EQI comes into play. This is the emotional intelligence. How emotionally intelligent are you? The scale is the same as an IQ test, right? IQ, intelligence quotient, it's the same scale. But they look at your intra-personal abilities, like how do I deal with myself and regulate myself, your inter skills with everybody else, your ability to make decisions. This is very important for what we're doing here. You've got to make decisions today about changing your direction. Your ability to deal with stress. Who has stress in your life, by the way? Does anybody not have stress in their life? Please speak now or forever hold your peace. No way. We all have some kind of stress in our life, okay? Perseverance of that stress is huge. What's the root word of perseverance? Severe.
Come on.
Severe. There's probably things in each and every one of your lives that's very severe right now, very personal to you. You're going to get through it. Non-routine thoughts, these positive thoughts I've given you today, let them break through the routine ones and persevere. Because no matter how severe it is, you can overcome it. I guarantee you. But if you revert back to old habits, the ones that you've got in play right now, you're not going to make these changes. Okay? And then general mood. Are you happy? Who said happy? You said happy. Grateful. Wake up. What's that general mood? Are you waking up that you want to go back to bed? There's probably people that are in this class that are like that. That's fine. Figure out what that is so that when you wake up in the morning, you want to get going. We don't have a lot of time on this planet in the history of this planet. We're like it's a grain of sand of time that we have here. Make every moment you have count, honestly. And your interactions with other people, you have no idea what you're doing with other people, the positive interactions you have. Goes for me too. Like I've taught thousands upon thousands, tens of thousands of realtors in my career. I have no idea if I've made an impact unless you come and tell me. And most don't. That's fine. But you never know if you make an impact of one word you said or one sentence. And hopefully a few have hit with you guys. That's my goal for this, right? This is the same for you going out and doing what you're doing in your profession and in your personal life. You're making these ripple effects. It's like Bruce Lee, one of the most amazing martial artists in history. He uses the pebble in the pond analogy. You drop a pebble in the pond and these rings start to, that's your influence. This I'm dropping in today and what's the ripple effect going to be, okay? Next one is going to be, click, lead generation summary form. This is just some questions. I'm not going to go through them. You're wondering, what do I ask? What questions do I ask when I get a lead? Here's a whole bunch of them, okay? Easy stuff. This is the budget. This is like going to the dentist for all of us, myself included. This is to get today an idea where you are financially or your family is financially, okay? There's two concepts I think of when I think of finances. One is called freedom, economic freedom. Economic. One is freedom. What's the opposite of freedom? Who said that? You're right. Slavery. Oh, what'd you do there, Matt?
Killed my share screen for some reason.
Okay. This is going to help you discover, determine, are you in an economic freedom state or slavery state or somewhere in between? Most of us are probably somewhere in between, right? When I say slavery, I got a mortgage, I got to pay for it. I got a car payment, I got to pay for it. I got my credit cards, I got to pay for it. I pay for my kids' school, I got to pay for the list goes on and on. Those are enslavements, right? Versus the freedom. Now, some of these enslavements are good enslavements. I got great memories at my house after Indy fixed it. I have really good memories, you know? I'll plug you again, my friend. Do you want to be free or do you want to be enslaved? That's going to be painful to go through that exercise. And there's a lot of things that you're going to want to put in there, right? I've broken it down into 3 different categories, by the way. Personal expenses, professional expenses. Like a professional expense is your real estate license, is a professional expense, your E&O insurance, your 4 dues, right? And I got marketing expenses separate from that. because I believe that is separate from professional expenses. Professionally, I have to have these. Non-negotiable versus marketing, you don't have to have those. Those are my choice. Okay, fear words we're no longer going to use. This is from a guy named Tom Hopkins. I studied under him in 1996. Went to his boot camp called Sales Training Boot Camp. These were the fear words that we changed. Okay, so Matt, I thought we had where we put them up there, but I guess we're going to fill the blank. Commission. We always say the word commission. You've heard me say the other word. What's the other word for that? Fee. Fee. Fee is the word. So instead of saying commission, we're going to say, I can't write on that now.
Double click, hit the pen, now right.
Okay, fee. No more commission, fee. People hate paying a commission, but we're used to or okay with paying a fee. My fee for service is blah. Cost or price. Nobody likes to know that this is going to cost me $1.5 million. What's the average sale price of a house? I printed it out. By the way, who does not review this every month? Marco Watch from Shrub. You should review this every month. This is a good video you can create some content with. Okay. The average sale price is, this is all for Shrub. 1.1 million, 1.17, right? 1,107,000 is the average sale price. That takes into consideration all of it. Instead of cost price, I did hear somebody say it was investment. Hey, Indy, your investment today is $1.1 million. As opposed to, Indy, this is going to cost you $1.1 million. You see the difference? How just subtly changing a word changes your mind, right? Down payment. Well, Indy, your investment is 1.1 million. Your down payment's initial investment. Did you take my course too?
No, I know about.
Oh, okay. So this is initial investment. Investment initial. So then what's the monthly payment one? Exactly. See? Your monthly investment. Okay. We got contract. People hate signing contracts because they're permanent. They are permanent, right? Mostly. What can we replace the word contract with? Are you going to help me?
Agreement.
Agreement. Exactly. Exactly. Agreement. How about the word buy? Or just, how about own? I'd like you to own this. Own. I'm going to get you sold, or I'm going to sell you this. Matt, I'm going to sell you this house. Move it. Move it. I'm going to get you involved. Get you involved. Deal.
Transaction.
Like that. Got a better one for you. Wonderful opportunity. Wonderful opportunity. This is all the slang that we've built into this business over the last 100 years. All of these words is all the slang that we use. And each one of them triggers a negative and emotional response unconsciously with somebody, right? Each of you probably feel that. Page 2 to this. Page 2, there we go. Sign. Okay.
Autograph.
That's exactly the one I used. I was selling to hockey people. I used to use autograph. Okay it. Sign. Let's change it. Autograph. Okay. There's number 2 that sometimes next to that. Sign off. I did sign off one time. Pitch. We should all know this one. We're going to go do a listing.
Presentation.
Yeah. But back in, when I started, everybody was using, I'm gonna pitch this, I'm gonna do that. A problem. Who likes problems? Who wants problems? Pardon me? Hiccups, issues, challenge. It's a challenge. Objections. We're gonna deal with
Disagreement
Concerns.
or concern?
exact areas of concerns, areas of concern. Whenever I was selling, I'd hear these words too from the buyer or seller. They would say, I have a lot of objections. Oh, that's great. So share with me what those areas of concerns are. I give back to get them in a proper psychological mindset to be on my page, right? So if I heard them say, we got so many problems. Oh, these challenges, we're gonna get over these things. No problem. They're just small little hurdles. We'll jump over them, right? So you feed back that, right? Cheaper.
Lower cost,
Economical.
more economical.
Economical. Right. Economical. This is a client. A looker. We're all lookers. Every one of us are lookers when it comes to looking at a service or a product we're going to buy. Every one of us. And we don't think of ourselves as being lookers, right? Because doesn't that sound nasty? Like, oh, Matt's a looker. Yeah, Matt?
Sid just had an alternate for customer. He wanted to put in opportunity.
Opportunity? Everybody's an opportunity. Absolutely. Okay, looker is a researcher. We're all researchers.
Someone says problem.
Window shopper,
What's the problem?
The looker.
a looker.
There's a problem.
Always a problem, yeah.
How about a window shopper?
Challenge.
Mhm.
Or, yeah, or we call them tire kickers, like the people selling cars, oh, they're tire kickers. Think of them as a researcher, because we're doing the same things ourselves. Like we're going to the internet, we're researching a car, vacation, new TV, appliance, like we're doing all that work. So are the people you're dealing with. They're researchers.
How do you handle researchers? Tire kickers?
That's part of the program. We'll probably learn some stuff like that, how to
I
convert
had
it.
some people tell me they're researching.
Oh, perfect. You want to get on board with that? That's a good thing.
Get on board.
I would be
with it.
like, that's fantastic. You're a researcher. You're the absolute client I want to have to work with. Somebody that wants to be knowledgeable, educated about what's going to happen. The more knowledgeable, educated you are, the easier my job becomes. Does that make sense? Won't be a good time to meet. With tonight at 8 o'clock or 5 o'clock or better?
We're not being sarcastic.
That's a real dialogue.
Okay, I just make
They're
sure.
gonna end up taking an agent anyway.
Remember, it's lead generation, book an appointment, closing a contract. So you just told me you're a researcher, but I'm a researcher. Fantastic. Did I have a chance of closing an appointment with you? Doing it that way? Again, we're in a sterile work environment here. Like we're not live with somebody that's really got an interest in buying, that's not, gonna try to be, like usually when you do these settings too, you want to be combative. Like you want to test the tester and test the coach, guy, trainer as best you can. I got him, right? No, in the real world, most people, if you use common sense and use psychology without them knowing you're using common sense and psychology, you're going to close them, right? I would have closed you. I'm a researcher. I think that's a great thing. Fantastic. You're the kind of client I want to work with, because the more knowledgeable you are, the easier my job. Whatever the guy is, right? Yeah. Prospect.
Potential client.
Potential.
Client.
Future client. Future client. Yeah. An appointment is a visit, pop by. And I've got 2 more slides and you guys can get out of here. How late am I? God.
Wait, that's fine. Keep going.
Oh, shoot, I have, yeah. Okay, sorry, you know what? This is not, is this printed out in the report? No, I shoot. Okay, well, we learned the top $2 million ones. I will promise I'll start next week with this slide, okay? We'll go over this because I want to go through a lot of this stuff with you in detail. I don't want to go over it quickly. We'll start with that next week, okay?
I was on talk less.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
Want us to start there next week?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, yeah, want me to like skip to the end?
Or take me to the Just Do It plan.
Just do it, there you go.
Okay, so this is the Just Do It plan. Who invented that saying? Nike Swish guys. Just do it. All right, that was their tagline, still is. This is just a very simple Just Do It plan for you to get you started, right? Doesn't have to be the core part of your plan and program, but if you're wondering, I'm leaving this fantastic session I just had, it blew my mind. Can't believe it. This guy's, he's like God. No, I'm not. That's blasphemous. I learned stuff that I should never have learned. This is just a quick little simple Just Do It plan. Okay? That should be in your book on page 21. Okay? Now, I did say something religious there, right? I am spiritual. To each his own is what I say with this. But I do have my 10 commandments for the real estate agents. Okay? Thou shalt listen more than talk. And I used in capital letters the keywords that I like. Thou shalt listen more than I talk. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth. You should be listening twice as much as you speak. Make sense? Thou shalt always be open to learning. This is my parachute analogy. If you don't open your mind, like the parachute, if it doesn't open, you're going to die. If you don't open your mind, you will die eventually. Mentally. Thou shalt go to the office and office meetings on a regular basis. We have a beautiful facility here. We're talking about lead generations stuff, right? Would that be part of what I talked about today, a large part? Have you guys ever considered a third lead generation source? We have buyers we want to try and lead generate and sellers, right? Buyers and sellers. Is there a third one?
Lessees.
Who?
Lessees, rentals.
Put those in the same category.
Oh.
Fellow realtors. You're like, what the heck's Mike talking about? He is on crack. Fellow realtors. What about the busy realtors we have in here that have like 5 listings and they're one person and need somebody to do open houses? You ever see these advertisements for open houses? Well, there's about 200 or 300 agents that are competing for that and responding back right away. Wouldn't it be cool if you came into the office, developed friendships, relationships with realtors, and they called you directly and said, hey, Mike, I can't do all these open houses. I have this opportunity. Would you be interested? Absolutely. They're not going to call you because they don't know you. They don't have a chance to like you because they don't know you. And they certainly don't trust you. If I was one of the realtors sending out these emails every Thursday and Friday for an open house, I wouldn't do it as the listing agent because I don't know you and trust you because I haven't developed a relationship. Again, it's not a database, relationship, same thing. You can create a pipeline of leads if you're looking for leads by coming in and getting friendly and knowing people. Mark my word. How did I start my business? My first 5 deals, open houses, by coming into the office, coming in early. Front desk girls, instead of them making the coffee, I would make the coffee. It sucked, but I still tried, right? But I was there. Somebody was going on vacation. Oh, Mike's there. Mike can do my open houses. Mike can maybe do some showings. Never thinking about what are you going to pay me to go show those properties to your buyers? No, I want to go out and show buyers. So I want to learn the market. I want to learn what to say, what to do. Come in, develop friendships. Thou shalt develop relationships in the sphere of influence and elsewhere. That's your A+, ABCs, and delete your Ds. Thou shalt market yourself at all times. The pin, that was a form of marketing. You all noticed it. You all noticed it. Now, some people may approach you in a grocery store. You're in real estate. Yeah. What do you do? What's your answer? Do you have an elevator speech for 30 seconds, a minute, tell them what you do? And if you don't, go back to those words that we just went through, those fear words. Create, using those words, a little 30-second commercial about what you do. In fact, I'll challenge every one of you to write one and present it next week. Not everybody's going to have to do it, but if you really want to learn what you're doing, use those fear words in a 30-second, 1-minute commercial And whoever wants to will present it. And I have heard some phenomenal people writing stuff with those words. It's phenomenal. Thou shalt say no negative, hear no negative, and be not in negative company. Even in a company as great as ours, we have people that pity party. You ever heard pity party? Oh, my interest rates are too high. Oh, Mike, it's gonna rain tonight. It's gonna snow this weekend. I've heard it all. Excuses, excuses, excuses. If you want to hang out with that garbage truck person that's got garbage, it's going to dump it on your front lawn, the only person you have to blame is yourself. Extract yourself from that scenario. Thou shall first confirm a question and objection before answering. So just to be clear, what you said was, right? So I repeat it back. Right, you said problem, just to be clear, your challenge is, right? I gave you back the positive word. Thou shalt ask many sincere questions. My whole course is about asking questions, open style questions. There are the tie downs for yes and no, but I don't want yes and no questions answered. I want dialogue and conversation. Thou shalt take up a new client only if you. I don't prescribe Prozac. I do not have a medical license to do that. So when you come into my office, needing those types of things, I refer you to that professional. But I diagnose and prescribe to you solutions that you can choose the right clients. Okay, so you don't need Prozac. Maybe a good wine, I don't know. Thou shalt not ignore the needs of yourself and your loved ones. I said it earlier, book your personal time off first before you book off your professional stuff. And do not compromise. Here's a word, integrity. Does anybody know what the word integrity is? What does that mean? What's the word integrity mean? Keeping your word. Keeping your word. Who said that? 100%. And we do very often, if not all the time, with other people, keeping our word. But we fail miserably keeping our word to ourselves. We compromise and give up. Today I was going to go to the gym at 9 o'clock. Oh, but Matt called me. He had an emergency because there was a slide screw up. Okay, Matt, I'll be there. And that's makeup. It's a joke. You didn't. You spent a lot of time reorganizing this for me. But that's what I'm talking about. I'm going to change something that I put in my planner that I was committed to do because somebody else derailed me. I don't have integrity for myself. I have integrity for others, but not myself. So do not ignore your own needs. Okay, I got one or two more, right, Matt? Is this thing not working?
This is the last one. Yeah, I had to unplug it. I'll explain after, I'm sorry.
Okay. I used to just read this poem every time I finished class 1, but I asked Matt to put the poem in. And it's written by, Dennis Waitley. Anybody ever heard of Dennis Waitley? Yeah. Preeminent psychologist in the United States. He was a psychologist to NASA. Everybody know what NASA is? Space Agency. Yeah, to the astronauts. He was one of their psychologists. Pretty important role. He was also the psychologist for the U.S. Olympic team during the 70s and 80s. That was stuff. I took his course probably in 1998, 1999. Phenomenal stuff. And this poem, although not part of the class, I found it online one time searching because I was looking for something and I stumbled on it. I put it in at the end of this class because, again, a lot of non-routine thoughts, things I'm asking you to do to plan your business. And what this poem is, and we'll read it, I'll read it for you. That takes someday I'll and make it your own. This is about procrastination at a high level. Okay, part of my thesis, I looked at proactive behavior, but I also looked at procrastination behavior. Every single one of us has a degree of procrastination. Yes. So congratulations, we all belong to the same team there, okay? However, to what degree do you do that? That's where you have to measure. So this poem is fantastic. So I'll read it to you. There's an island fantasy, a someday I'll will never see. When recession stops, inflation ceases, our mortgage is paid, our pay increases. That someday I'll where problems end where every piece of mail is from a friend, where all the nations can go it alone, where we all retire at 41, playing backgammon in the sun. Most unhappy people look to tomorrow to erase this day's hardship and sorrow. They put happiness on layaway and struggle through a blue today. But happiness cannot be sought, it can't be earned, it can't be bought. Life's most important revelation is that the journey means more than the destination. Happiness is where you are right now, pushing a pencil or pushing a plow, going to school or standing in line, watching and waiting or tasting the wine, not wine, so that's one. If you live in the past, you become senile. If you live in the future, you're on someday aisle. The fear of results is procrastination. The joy of today is celebration. You can save, you can slave, charging mile after mile, but you'll never set foot on your someday aisle. When you've paid all your dues and put in your time, out of nowhere comes another Mount Everest to climb. From this day forward, make it your vow, take someday aisle and make it your now. Love this. All right. This is what your opportunity is. And the only person that can make that happen is you. We can all support each other and rally behind each other and help each other, but ultimately it's what you're going to do because you're your own boss for this business and whatever else you want to do in life. When you leave, if it's only, this is what I want to be, this is my future destination, this is my goals. If you don't actually start working towards it, you're going to live on someday out. And it's not fun, right? If you just look around you, the world, all the unhappiness that people have, stress that people have, it's because they're looking, not looking here, right? Like around us. So, first week is over. You saw my point system. My goal was how many points for you to do this week?
250.
250. So next week when we come in, Matt's going to help kind of correlate all those numbers for you. If you want to try out and be on this competition for CMAs, I would suggest you focus on that. All you need to do is 5 to get you 250. Do 15. Make 750 points. That's 15 CMAs that you've done towards this potential, goal. You get the book if you come to, you get the autographed book, the auction for that, if you come to every one of the classes. And if you show up for the last one, you get one of those books I'll take home as well. Listen, it's been a pleasure doing the first course. What time is it, Matt? How long did I really go over today?
3 hours.
2 hours. What time is it?
Almost 2 o'clock.
I got
Almost an hour.
3:30. Thank you very much for being here. And I look forward to working with every one of you. All right.
See you next time. I registered Nabil.